Something's coming, can't say when. Belt tied around me, heart within. Doors might open any moment now. Gotta be prepared somehow. I'm ready and waiting, fire burning bright. I'm ready and waiting through longest night. Won't let it die out, won't fade away. Ready and waiting for that day. Burning, burning, never gonna stop. Burning, burning, till the moment comes.
Yo, how's it going, guys? Good to see you. Oh, it's very, very happy to be here. We are joined by PJ and Sov. Derek Nelson was also here, but he dropped. He'll come back now. How you guys doing?
Who dropped?
Derek Nelson.
Oh, no.
he'll come back now.
Don't be a dropout. Come back, Derek. Come back.
So but it's good to see you guys. Glad we could make it. I was excited to see that the stream was available from the debate. There we go. Derek's back.
Hey
I
guys.
got my version from Mojo Shop. Is that where you get yours?
Yeah, that's what I got from Mojo. Yeah, because Dave actually emailed me the link from Mojo's.
Right.
Because I was thinking, yeah, when it comes out, I'll definitely want to see. And then all of a sudden I said, Roger was streaming it this morning. You streamed it. And Dave sent me the mail. But have you watched it yet, Dave?
Nope, I haven't
You
seen
know
it.
that. It's fresh. I was like trying to keep my best away from PJ's stream today just so I can get the footage.
Yeah.
You'll bring
I've
it.
gotten to a point where I like start cringing when I hear either one of them guys talk. I'm like,
I mean, like I say, mine wasn't a full review. Mine was more for a watch party. Once I seen that we were reviewing it here, because I'd already set my stream, I just thought I'll do it as a watch party. He did a little review in, but not as good as the review would be. It was more entertainment for us to be.
Well, I can call it. Are they going to talk about TFE?
Yeah, definitely.
And I also want to quickly, before we start, guys, what did we say? Why is everybody paying $65 to watch something that literally we got now?
Yeah.
you got to be a real sycophant. You got to be a real sycophant to fall for that shit right there. You know?
Hey, I worked hard on my thumbnail today, man.
Fun
Creating
thumbnail.
those characters isn't quick. I have to draw it out.
Fun thumbnail was fantastic, bro.
I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I suppose they both come out with a few beauties, especially Jan.
But yeah, it's exciting to see what's going to be presented.
Oh, real quick, you may recognize her from the chat here and chat over in on my show. Deborah Clark.
Ah,
is-
Deborah.
Yeah, she's in the
Yeah.
hospital. She broke ribs 4 through 7. And I guess,
did that
I
happen?
don't know, I guess she had a seizure and fell or something.
Oh,
And she's in hospital right now, but she's keeping up. She's been watching and keeping up with everything. And she's even flat smacking the freaking hospital people. So,
That's Deborah, yeah.
yeah, baby.
Well, thank you for giving us news because I was wondering where she's been. She's been very quiet lately.
I knew that. I knew that as well through Facebook. I did comment in one of our posts, but it's been I don't pay much attention to Facebook much. I just catch things here and there. But yeah.
But yeah, hopefully all goes well with Deborah, and it's good to see she's recovering. So that's a good thing.
Praise the Lord.
Okay, so yeah, I got this from Mojo. Thank you very much, Mojo, for giving us this link. He said he's got connections that have connections. So
Yeah, he hit his 100 subscribers today as well. I don't know if he knows that, but he hit his 100 subscribers. He was under 100. Now he's just gone over. So good.
awesome.
Nice.
Okay, guys, so I got the poll going. Who was your favorite actor? Griffith?
I didn't
Griffith's
vote
in the lead. Yeah, Griffith's in the lead with 48%. Shillenism is 19%, and they both together 33%.
That's me. That was me.
Okay. So I did actually download the video, but it just doesn't seem to want to play through Restream very well. So I have to use the link from.
See, I think when it comes to that, StreamYard is good at playing video files, but Restream's not as good at doing that. I find.
Yeah, the
But,
sound wasn't great. That's why I was like, okay, so let me rather play the link. It's gonna be better. Hey Ryan, good to see you.
I
man.
downloaded it.
Yeah,
Hi guys.
yeah.
Cookies.
Okay, let's see. It's gonna be interesting.
Okay, what is up, guys? Sorry for the delay. Everything went wrong for the first time right before this debate, so it should be interesting. We wanted to give you guys a chance to get here. So, this is the long-awaited debate that has been requested by everyone.
Wait. Sorry,
Who was requesting this? Who
What are you
was
talking about?
requesting this?
That's literally where I stopped. The first place I stopped.
The
at Sean's face.
highly anticipated, and requested. It was like, who requested it other than you two?
Right.
Yeah, but I mean, look at Sean's face. This is like, are you serious?
Yeah.
I don't know about this. If anybody in chat knows of anybody who's been asking for this debate, please let us know, because I don't know a one person.
Mhm.
So it's quite. But then again, he has to hype it up. Remember, he needed people to pay $65 for this.
Yeah.
But who did though?
Quite a lot of people.
Yeah, mad.
Wow, that's surprising. I mean, it'd be one thing if it was a boxing match, but I mean, come on now.
$65 for that.
Isn't it crazy when, like, a day later, I got straight off Mojo? Like, last night, I got off Mojo.
Straight away, yeah.
Say,
Morning.
wait for the release.
Quite crazy.
1,000 times. So here we are. Jared and I are going to be debating, is the Earth a globe?
Yeah.
So yeah,
I see Sean is the moderator. He was asked to moderate on there. I'm happy he's the moderator though, because he is at least neutral on this whole thing. So that's a good thing. But when it comes to Austin or Jiren, none of those guys are trust with a pinch of salt. So, and we still want to point out they're still business partners.
Oh, yeah.
This is all just a show, guys.
Oh,
They're literally just trying to get money. Money and publicity, that's all they stand for.
that's right.
And it's working.
Mm-hmm.
I'll just go ahead and hand it over to the moderator, which is Sean Griffin from Keenan Context.
Welcome, everyone. This is the infamous debate, Is the Earth a Globe? Jeran Campanella of Jerenism. Austin Whitsitt of Whitsitt Gets It. Austin, do you have the screen? It shows just you right now.
Well,
Is
for
that what
them,
you
it
want?
shows all three of us.
Okay.
You just can't see.
So welcome, everyone. This is possibly round one of this epic debate going down tonight. Is the Earth a globe? And I think Jeran Campanella is going to be in the affirmative position. So he's going to go first. The format for the debate will be 10-minute openings, 7-minute rebuttals, followed by 30 minutes of open cross-exam between the two interlocutors. And then we're going to be taking questions from the audience for a 30-minute Q&A. So be sure to hold your questions till about midway through the debate. That way they don't get lost in the abundance of questions flowing in. And
Doesn't it look like to you guys like Jiren's lost a lot of weight?
Yeah, he can't. I mean, he's always a little bit fidgety. He doesn't look straight at the camera. Never has, really. He's always like a sidey glance type thing, isn't he?
Yeah, he never looks at the camera. That's all he ever does. But he looks like he's lost a lot of weight. He looks.
Well,
like
it's a lot of stress, you know, having to hold a big lie.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think this
And,
might be okay?
And I don't know what's up with Whitsitt trying to always think he's got muscles or something. Poor guy's muscles is smaller than my damn arms. Forearms. My forearms are bigger than his biceps. So it's a bit weird that he thinks he's got muscles.
I had a troll come in at the end of the debate when I was doing it earlier, saying, "What was that? Mr. Medic challenged me to throw hands with him to a boxing match. Yeah, not a problem, whoever you are." He says, "You've got big mouth, PJ. you want to arrange a boxing match? Like, okay, if you want to throw hands, it gives me a reason to get fit again. Let's do it. Madness, isn't it?
But yeah, it's gonna be interesting. All that debating, guys, is the Earth a globe or not? You know, the same nonsense. Like I said, I haven't watched it, so I can't tell you what they specifically argued. But if PJ at least checked some of it, he says they did bring up some TFE, so it should be interesting.
Jiren, if you're ready, we can go ahead and hear your opening.
Yep, I'm gonna set my timer so I have a little clock here going, and we good to go. Okay, and we said 10 minutes. Okay, we will. Can we edit this one? Good enough. All right, and let me know. Can you just tell me when we have like 5 minutes and then 1 minute or something?
Can do.
Thank you much. Are we good to go?
Yeah, I'll start the time when you start your speaking.
Sounds good. All right, so thanks everybody for being here. Obviously, thanks for inviting me, Austin. Thanks for moderating, Sean. I know it was last second. Much appreciated. So, and let me begin by saying hello to the former colleagues, friends I have. I wish
Former colleagues, friends.
Oh, no.
Wow. Already off the bat, kind of slapping them in the face. You know, the same people that used to support you for 10 years, Jiren?
Yeah.
You know, the ones that literally kept you out, you know, into your home, that you didn't have to have an actual job. You know, those people that you just literally threw out in the curb for your new buddies that were the ones calling you retarded and a moron for the last 10 years. You know, those people. Yeah.
That's right. So that was Vicky's first point, actually. Yeah.
Do it for the mammon, man. Do it for the mammon.
That's it, man. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
it was under better circumstances. Unfortunately, as you know, tonight I'm debating somebody I once stood next to in the flat Earth community, Austin Whitsitt.
You still do. You guys are business partners. You still stand together, dude.
Yeah.
As long as you're still business partners, you stand together. This damn actor show, like, oh, you guys are separate, is just nonsense, man. You're working together.
Of course.
Summits, Globebusters. We spoke at conferences. We used a microphone and speaker at Venice Beach. We claimed to seek truth, and the same I thought could be said for all of you. Originally, the difference is that I actually meant it. Others did as well. They've escaped the flat Earth. We weren't here for a social movement. While I might agree with the ideas of that, those can be done in other ways. We were here for truth and a scientific truth. Once that truth is gone, that's it. Game over.
Whoa. What scientific truth you're talking about, Jeran? You don't even know what science is.
Yeah.
Jiren, when it comes to science or frankly any logic, Jiren was one of the biggest retards around. I mean, he literally once told me you can get a tangent off a pencil.
Oh my god.
Oh yeah. I mean, yeah.
So quite crazy. Oh yeah, and what causes waterfall? Rocks. That's his science, guys. Rocks causes waterfall.
He does a little bit. I do one spoiler. He does say something about curved angles.
Oh, okay.
So I spent a decade researching, presenting, defending the flat Earth model. Why? Well, because I thought it was true. So
Okay, I have to stop again. Sorry. What flat Earth model?
Mm-hmm.
Where has he ever presented a flat Earth model? So this is the first lie.
He brings that up a lot. Like Roger played like 10, 12 minutes of this stream last night, and yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah, but
No,
that's the thing.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, but I mean, if he keeps saying, "Oh yeah, I brought up the model, defending the model," and what model?
Right.
There is no model. Jiren hasn't presented any model. Has anybody seen a model presented by Jiren?
No.
Quite sad. Okay, we're gonna try and let him say more now. It's just hard when he says really idiotic stuff that we have to stop.
I know. That's what I was trying to do.
Sadder still, Austin and I both went on a trip in December to do what we both thought was helping the flat Earth, and in my mind at least, by showing strong evidence for or against it. When I encountered the real-world observations that flat Earth can't explain, I didn't ignore it. I tested it. I went down, took action. I went to Antarctica, watched the 24-hour sun with my own eyes, circled for 4 days. It wasn't NASA. It wasn't Dave Weiss's plasma sun that he got from a microscope.
Hold up.
It's not hearsay. It's a real observation.
Hold up. How did you watch it go for 4 days if you were only there for 2?
That's right. That's right.
Not just that though. Remember when they literally got in Punta Serena and said, okay, now we have to go eat and stuff, and then they did their 12 o'clock stream at night, and then they left. They went straight to Union Glacier. When they were there, what happened? Let's look at the toilet. Let's look at this. Oh, we're going to go straight away now. Look at my little tent, and we're going to go straight now to where they designated a place for us. They went there, and they slept under a table for a while.
Didn't they catch some Z's as well? You know what I mean? And let the hobos.
And then he said, oh yeah, we haven't been here for 24 hours to say, but it looks like the sun. Remember when he was crossing his hands like, oh yeah, I was wrong. They weren't there for 24 hours.
He just straight up blew his own. He just straight up blew his own thing. Okay, so if they watched it for 4 days and you were only in Antarctica for 2 days, where did you watch this at? In a studio? Was it in a studio, Jiren? You just busted yourself, bro.
Mm-hmm.
But not just that, though. Did you know the issue is? Remember when he was showing his videos and streams, his recordings on his GoPro? Half of his GoPro footage was at Union Glacier Camp itself, not where they were trying to do the observation. So even those 2 days they were there, half the time he wasn't even there to be able to do that observation.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, that's not even to go around with when he lied and said they got to Punta Serenas on the 13th, when you literally see his flight ticket showing the 10th.
Right.
So that's a bit odd.
100% above board, despite what you hear from all the great flat Earth researchers. And what I've explains and matches reality exactly. And it sure as hell isn't the flat model. I thought.
What model predicts everything that you're claiming? The model that violates natural law. The one that they say is too big to be able to observe Earth curvature. The one that they say, let's just make up crazy stuff like gravity, even though we don't know what gravity is. The same one that says, you know what? Just trust me, bro. You don't need to observe the Earth rotating. You see the sky moving, but it's actually just us. That belief system. Oh, that's not a model, by the way.
Yeah.
So Jiren doesn't even know what a model is either. Okay, let's carry on longer.
People would be adults, and we would say we were wrong when the evidence was dropped in our lap. And thanks to Robbie, Paul, Patricia, Austin Thompson, Alex Stein, and the others. And there's still some more people who want to remain unnamed, and still others that maybe nobody knows their names. So I'm happy at least that people can admit when they're wrong. But yes, for nearly a decade, I was one of the most vocal about flat Earth, and it's sad.
Bullshit. Okay, first I have to stop there. Sorry, guys. When you started naming Robbie Davidson and Patricia Steer and Alex, you do know all of them were just having the same script, saying exactly the same thing.
Yeah.
At the same time. And no, Jiren, you weren't the biggest vocal on there. You were just pushed more than everybody else. Everybody here on this panel has exactly the same vocal that you have, being actually us more than you, because we're still flat earthers, dude. So it's total nonsense.
Ooh. Flat dropped out the noise and then dropped out. Oh,
No,
what was that?
yeah.
I can't see you though. Oh, there you are.
Oh, I think that was me.
No. Flat Solve, it's someone else. I thought it was Solve trying to share something.
Oh, but speaking of Robbie, real fast.
Don't give it to that guy. That Flat Solve is probably just a troll, so.
But I'm thinking You know how
Anyway.
Robbie went back to the globe, right? Like, I'm curious from a Christian perspective how he's going to make a ball come out of Scripture.
Mm-hmm.
I know
He can't.
right?
He just has to ignore it now. There we go. See, Nazi flatsies. You see, that's his calling us. It is just a troll.
Yeah, no doubt.
You know what happens if you really want the link so badly? You could just be nice to us and actually ask us politely, not be demeaning and how can I say name calling. Then you don't
Not
get any
here for
information from us. But
They're not
you
here
make
for
your choice.
conversation. They're here to stop the conversation. That's all.
That's right.
Exactly. Okay, so let's carry on listening to hogwash nonsense from Jiren.
To be here. I know there's a lot of people that I respect very much who are speaking at this event, who have been friends of mine for a long time. Haven't talked to them in 6 months because they abandoned me just like everybody else. Because I went down to Antarctica.
How can we stop? How can we not stop his talking? You abandoned everybody.
You immediately came back and called everybody assholes instead, retards and everything else.
What happened when he just came back from this whole thing and he gave his nice Christmas poem?
Exactly.
You personally attacked us. Solve is one of them. I'm also one of them. Other people you personally attacked. So don't come pull bullshit. People left you. That's total nonsense. This guy's a total dirtbag. Yeah, he's trying to be the victim, where he is the one that incited his victimization.
Antarctica and came back and told you the truth. Can you imagine? You're all truthers, and you turned your back on me for going on a trip and telling you the truth. So what do you think that does to my opinion of the truthers of the flat Earth? But what separates me from the community is exactly that I will follow the evidence even if it leads me somewhere uncomfortable.
Okay, I just have to put this guy on screen, sorry guys, because he's telling Sov to die in the back chat. So we're giving him an opportunity to come in and say it to his face.
You got the stones there, little fella. Come on and take care of business.
Terrible thing to say, though.
Of course it is.
Probably Sean Hawkins, by the way. Vicky Queen Bee, thank you for the $10 super chat. Really appreciate it. She says, please smash the likes and share the show. Thank you. Yeah, guys, she's paying for this super chat to say to do keep up with and just hit the likes, please, guys. Really appreciate it, Vicky. Appreciate all the support and appreciate everybody being here. So you got 5 seconds to talk up or you will be kicked. As simple as that, because we're not going to let you turn this into a shit show. And
what is POS? Positively outstanding somebody? Yes, I am.
Positively outstanding servant. Yeah. Oh, well. Now he will be ignored.
Who's a friend I attacked there, Flatsaw? Who did I attack? I didn't attack anybody. Once I was attacked, then I started naming names, bitch. Right?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Okay. Let's get back to the actual debate.
I'm not here representing NASA. I'm not here on behalf of any government. I'm just here on my own telling you my observations and what they mean to me.
Sounds like you're trying
what
to
is this debate not about, I guess, is, or what, let me get to this part. So my opponent, obviously Austin, I think Austin's sharp. I think he's articulate. I think he's smart. I think he's undeniably passionate. I used to admire that passion, and I do, but I think that the passion without precision is just noise. Austin's approach is a philosophical approach, I believe, more than it is scientific. And here's what we can expect Austin to do tonight, at least in my opinion. He's not going to answer my questions because he's going to leave us with no picture of how the world works or how it looks or how it operates. No idea of its layout, no understanding or no clue about how anything works. He won't offer any explanations since Flat Earth doesn't have any. It will instead say the default position is that we live on a flat plane. But throughout history, we've already corrected that error. The globe is a counterintuitive suggestion. I agree with that. However, it is true. So
did you just say that? The globe is a counterintuitive suggestion. However, it is true. Then it's not a counterintuitive suggestion. It's either true or it's not. You can't. Oh, man. We say this all the time, guys. How do you know the Earth's not a globe? Simple. I'm sitting right now. I'm telling you the Earth's not moving. There's no observation telling me it's moving. I am breathing right now. I know the Earth's not moving. The Earth's enclosed. What's up,
Hey, how are you?
Sam? How's it going?
How you doing?
Good.
Everything okay?
Yes, man. It's good to have you in.
I'm alright.
So what's your thoughts on Jeran's
I can
bullshit so
fucking
far?
stand that guy. I hate it. I hate it more than the Iranians. I hate him. I fucking hate him.
I hate his guts. I don't
know,
hate
man.
him.
He's like so. Everything is bad. Yeah,
He's
totally,
evil.
Totally. He's like, wow. I cannot stand it.
As you can see, I gave him the one red eye symbolism in the thumbnail for a reason.
I thought he had an infection.
I call him Jeran Skywalker.
But yeah, the guy's a total. Oh, man.
Animism.
Is that Jer Binks?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Jezer Beans.
And greetings, Sam.
He also won't at any time offer a working map or model. Won't provide a model that matches all known observations. Won't explain how you can have circumpolar stars in the south, seen from the continents, the 3 continents. Explain why the north at 80 degrees are seeing an inverse but identical observation today that we made 6 months ago to the day. Predict sunrise and sunset times for every location on Earth with a flat Earth geometry, or tell us how the sun stays visible for 24 hours at a time in Antarctica, unless he invokes refraction or reflection.
Jiren, real quick. Jiren, I paused the time for you. Before we started, you said you were going to minimize yourself. Are you thinking you're showing something right now?
No, I'm not showing anything yet.
Okay.
I'll get there.
All right. Good.
Yeah.
I'll resume the time.
Of course, he won't minimize himself. He wants to be the center of attention.
He's real hood with that flat brim too. He's like a hood rat. He's a fly, pretty fly for a white guy.
Well, you see, the thing is, he used to always wear the THC hats and stuff, supporting THC. But since this whole thing, he's like throwing him under the bus too, throwing him away. Now it's not THC anymore. Wonder why, Jiren. But yeah, everything he just said was total poppycock. No, Jiren, you haven't even presented a 24-hour sun to anybody yet. You're just making a claim there's a 24-hour sun. I mean, have any of you seen this 24-hour sun they claim to?
No, it's pretty weird. NASA's even got a station down there. They've never even presented it. So what's up?
What's funny is that there is no 24-hour suns for like 80 years already. Supposedly scientists are in Antarctica. So there never was a 24-hour sun. How come now suddenly they could film that? I don't understand. It's such a bunch of shit.
Why wouldn't that be a selling point for things like what's the outfit they went down, ALE? Why wouldn't that be a selling point? Come down and witness the 24-hour sun at the bottom of the world. I could write up a thing for that and get people involved. No worry. It's not a.
But did you not call? But did you not call that ALE before and actually ask about it? And they said
no. There's 24 hours of daylight. I said, can you see the 24-hour sun? And then she hesitated. You could tell somebody was talking to her off the phone, and she goes, "Oh, yes." There's a reason ALE doesn't even want to be associated with this farce at all. The picture, they're the only group that went there and took a picture at Union Glacier and didn't have a Union Glacier sign in front of them, right?
But not just that, they're still not shown on the Facebook pages on any public recognition for ALE at all.
No.
That's the weird thing. It's like if you usually have a group coming to and you don't want to be associated with them, so you don't present them community about them, so you just don't act like they were never there. That's how it seems with this, which is really odd, because even if someone there has a birthday, they celebrate it. If someone just comes there and is like, oh, this guy's got 2 different colored shoes, they celebrate that. I mean, come on, why will they not celebrate something saying, hey guys, we've destroyed flat earth?
Really well, you know what's weird to me is that it's hard for me to believe that they went down there. First of all, I don't believe they ever went there, but that the whole point of the TF shit was to just prove that there was a 24-hour sun in Antarctica. I don't think that's the real reason. That's the official reason, the cover-up. because they fucked up so much that it's impossible. You know, I think they maybe did it on purpose. I think there is another reason why they did that. It was not to disprove, the flat Earth by trying to prove that there is a 24-hour sun in Antarctica. It was just to attempt to dismantle and attack the flat Earth community. And this is what they succeeded into doing. This is their real success, because they didn't succeed into proving anything, in Antarctica, but they succeeded into activating all their shields and dividing the community. And this is what they aimed at. You understand? And it makes sense, because if you destroy the flat Earth community, it's over for the flat Earth theory. You understand? Yeah. So I believe that the objective is this. Exactly. And now you see Jeran, you see those guys like how do you call him? Steven Alonso, all these guys are popping up, like, saying, yeah, David Wise. So it's like it goes beyond the objective of proving that there is a 24-hour sun, because believe me, it's not possible. It's not that. It's just like, look at what the success is. Look at what's going on. It's just to attack us a bit.
But I mean, even Duffy alone debunked his own whole TFE thing. I got a short quickly to play everybody, where everybody can hear his words when he was debating Sean from King in Context.
I know.
Literally, this is what debunks TFE by Duffy himself. Just listen, guys.
Have you measured the diameter of the sun changing since the days of Adam?
I haven't measured it, and I want to
point out. It's a false claim. So you're just appealing to.
Hey, Sean, let me answer. I want to point out to the audience, you are evading the topic of the debate, which is the shape of the Earth, by talking about the sun.
Your whole TFE is about the sun. You
exactly.
Wow. So he admits that has nothing to do with the Earth. He just admitted it right there.
I guess there we go. TFE debunked.
Yeah, but that's how it works. Liars always end up to following their own lies. They just, first of all, they believe the lies, so you believe that they're saying the truth because they're very convincing and everything, and then they fuck up because it doesn't last. The nature of evil, it's like it doesn't last. It's gonna destroy everything around it, and then it's gonna self-destruct. This is what they're doing. The more you stand, the more you time is with us. And at the end, those people just expose who they are really, and that's the end of it. But
yeah, let's carry on with the debate. Let's see.
Okay, thanks. So one of the biggest problems is that I've seen is that the flat Earth has become somewhat of a cult. So why did I leave it? Well, I left it not because I was debunked, not because I lost a debate, or because I was paid off, or because I was got tired of fighting. I left because I did something that very few in this community are willing to do. That's testing our conception of the Earth. Think of what the flat Earth has brought in 10 years. It's been 10 years. We have brought nothing to the world. We have invented nothing. We have increased.
You were not willing. You were not willing. You got bullied into it. You weren't willing at all. You were bullied into it.
Yeah.
I want to ask, what did Jiren bring in that he's talking about?
What's the Wii business?
What did he test? What exactly did he test?
You see, that's what I'm talking about. Is attacking, is trying to diminish, and to the flat Earth community. He's trying to say now that we didn't do nothing, we are cult. Is demonizing us, and this is the real objective. That's their point. We're too dangerous for these people. So I would have done the same thing probably, but anyways, if I wasn't,
the knowledge of nothing. Sad. We have just spun our wheels and ran on a hamster wheel, and then got off and been really proud of ourselves. But when you look back, you didn't go anywhere. You didn't do anything. We didn't bring anything to the world. And there's a certain point where you need to say, hey, shouldn't we have something by now? Shouldn't we have something? So I tested my conception of the Earth. I went to Antarctica. I witnessed the 24-hour sun. I saw it with my own eyes. It means that the South is not a lie. We'll get into that. But let's talk about the so-called research that was done around the response to the final experiment. Spoiler alert, there wasn't any. No investigation, no travel, no counter-experiments, just knee-jerk denial, memes, name-calling, lazy live streams from basements with the globe in the trash and Dave Weiss's app back on a digital Ouija board. Instead of being met with genuine curiosity, my trip to Antarctica, something this community has claimed that they wanted for years. This was something that people pushed for, wanted, said was impossible. We went and did it, but instead it was treated like betrayal. Why? Because I didn't come back with a blurry GoPro clip of an ice wall. Instead, I came back with something far more dangerous to flat Earth, and that's the truth.
Came back with
Whoa.
You
didn't
haven't
bring
brought
anything.
nothing.
At all.
You just made a claim. Look, I see sun,
Yep,
so
and
therefore
then
not
came
flat
back
Earth.
and whined
The
about it.
sun
And then
is
came back and
literally-
whined about it and insulted everybody. You didn't do shit. You held a compass upside down. A junior explorer yogi campground toy compass. Get them. Wow.
Yeah, but I mean, literally, he was always the one saying, yeah, also, the sun's not going to
Yeah.
determine the ground. Now, when he was there, not actually observing anything, saying, yeah, I see the sun, so therefore the earth, but we can probably explain this. Now, all of a sudden, it's no, we just can't explain it. Why? Because every explanation presented to him, he doesn't like. He doesn't accept. He's literally an
You know now why I
anti-flat earther.
hate him? You understand why?
And the thing is, he hasn't have any justification for what he's saying at all. He hasn't presented anything for his case. He's just making claims. He's literally become a McToon.
Right.
But yeah, that compass upside down, that tells you everything you need to know.
It's like
about
him
it.
is upside down too.
I watched the sun circle my head
and
for 4 straight
I've seen
days.
this out.
I recorded it. We live streamed it. We showed angles, timestamp, shadows, sun spots, you name it. All things that wouldn't exist as we saw them on a flat Earth. And so what do I get for that? Shill, actor, Freemason, CGI. The usual default settings of belief systems that can't...
No. Since you started your channel, you've been called a shill, actor, plant. Literally. For a whole 10 years before you even did TFE. Before TFE even come out, we said you're going to use some kind of thing to get out. When TFE was presented, we literally called you out for saying, oh, you're going to use this as your out.
Said that's Jeran's out. As soon as the TFE thing come and he was going, we knew he was going, yeah, there's Jeran.
Because remember, before this happened, he was always buddy with McToon. Remember when he started having McToon on and they started talking about angles, and then he started saying, yes, you can have curved adjacent angles and all that nonsense. And he started saying, yes, but you flat earthers don't really understand science. Yeah. The guy, while he was a flat earther, was attacking flat earthers. This guy's a grifter, man. That's all he does. He just follows where the money is.
survive contact with reality. This has opened my eyes to what the truth community really is. If this is the kind of research that they do about the Antarctic trip, then think of all the things that I thought they were researching correctly before. And it becomes a little bit like a cult when you can't question the doctrine, you can't update the model, you can't accept conflicting evidence, and you sure as hell can't leave, if you notice that. It's Scientology with memes, basically. So here's my evidence focus area. Number one, I want to remind everybody that today's date is 6 months to the day that we filmed the 24-hour sun. Why is that important? Well, because we can actually go watch the time.
You didn't film it. You didn't film the 24-hour sun. You're making a claim you filmed the 24-hour sun.
He's living in a wet dream, like in a fantasy. That guy's fucking crazy. It's beyond lies. It's beyond lies. It's like invents things. It's like lives in a dream world. I don't know. Those people are crazy.
But you see, the thing is, if you say in lies enough, you're going to believe it. If you just lie to yourself enough times, you're going to believe it. So he's repeating his nonsense over and over that it's been presented so many times that he actually
that's a method, the CIA method that you have to believe you lie, in order to be able to say it, because then people see that you believe in it, and they don't see that, they don't detect that you are lying. So you have to believe you lie. This is like the thing that they teach you, I guess, in order to to be able to sell these lies, to convince people. And then you get caught into that that fakery, and that's what happens to him. It's like he's totally out of control.
Yeah, I just got to say to the trolls in chat, this is a review of the debate. If you don't like it, then why are you here? Because that's what reviews are. You review the debate. It's called commentary for a reason.
Lapse of the sun circling us right to left in the south. If we went today to Google Earth and we went to 80 degrees north, we would see the exact opposite observation in the sky. Everything identical, 35 degrees at its high, 15 degrees at its low, moving left to right this time. So how is it that we have places in the world that are symmetrical and upside down from each other? There's only one shape that could possibly be, and it's not flat. If the Earth is flat, the South has to be a lie. Period. There's no getting around that. You can't have an opposite of the North like we're taught, and then say that the Earth is flat, but it still works that way. No, it wouldn't work that way. So if we went down there and we saw that the South was not a lie, then that's pretty good evidence that the Earth is what we were taught. So if you're unaware of it, it's time you figured it out. If the Earth is flat, then the South cannot be what we were taught. Therefore, if it is exactly what we were taught, then guess what the shape of the Earth is? So in December 2024, I knew the following. The South is either a lie or we were wrong. So I just...
How's the South a lie? I'm literally a South African. I live in the South. I'm definitely a real person.
Are you sure?
Yes, I hope so. I'm not AI generated or something, so.
Right.
Decided to take a free trip to check. And throughout this debate, I will be focusing on a few main points. Each of them is a dagger in the heart of the Flat Earth model. It's the reason that I switched. It sucks. It's the last thing anybody wants to do. It's the worst thing I've ever had to do. However, I'm a truther. So despite the people yelling and screaming, people lying about me, so-called truthers, Steve Falconer blocking me, you name it, Dave Weiss blocking me, no contact, these people are not truthers. If they were truthers, wouldn't you want to know what Jiren has to say? This guy was a flat earther for 10 years and now he's flipped. Let's listen to him. Nope. Instead, you all blocked me. You all refused.
Nonsense. Total nonsense. It's because the nonsense you say we're calling you out for your nonsense. Jiren, no one's blocked you, by the way.
Well,
so that's a lie.
I've blocked it.
That's an important point, is that, we don't accuse people freely. Like, it's not like free accusations. He did that to himself. We are forced to understand that he's a chill. We're not just accusing him to be a chill. We see it. It's an observation. Just like, you observe the sun, you can observe that he's a chill. There's no other explanation. It's like, it's...
Yeah, but the thing is, what he's doing is he's trying to play the victim here. That's all he literally has, if you've realized that. His whole spiel is, the people are mean to me, so I'm not a part of it anymore. Shame, Jiren. You know what you've been sowing to people for 10 years? You're kind of reaping it now.
Ooh.
The only difference is the hypocrites that been calling you out, dirtbag and stuff for 10 years are now your, how can we say, allies. You do know they're just doing this because you're literally working with their agenda for their bias. That's it. If you have to stop doing what you're doing now, they'll literally just not bother with you anymore. You'll sit with no one. Think about that.
Do you remember the movie GFK? When they with Joe Pesci and everything, when they start talking about to conspire to kill JFK there. And at one point, Joe Pesci said, okay, but we can do this and this and that, but one man is gonna have to be sacrificed in their conspiracy. And this is what I see Jiren as that man there that has to be sacrificed by his team, for the greater good, because actually, he's playing a role. He has a role to play. And he's playing that role there that, of the flat earther that just, turned into a glober, but also at the same time that is totally opposed to people like David Weiss and everything, and to other people that are actually maybe part of his own team. You understand? So, it's a game. We have to analyze a little bit, what he's doing. It's just not just like speaking in the air. Like we have to analyze what's going on, because we are being attacked. You understand, by these people.
Yeah.
So it's interesting to know.
They're creating a narrative about flat earthers.
Of course.
And he's part of that.
How can you dismantle such a movement that is spreading all over the world through so many different people from different countries, different religions? So it's a big work. You have to to prepare that. You have to So I believe that this is what they're doing. It's going to take them time, but they're doing it. They're inserting bullshit, inserting new theories into the flat earth. Okay, the Earth is flat, but there's also a 24-hour sun is possible. Maybe there are two suns. You don't know. They're trying to divide us on with all kinds at every level. So this is what's happening with these guys. We have to understand what's in their mind. And it's not easy because it's a fucked up mind.
Exactly.
Used to listen because you're in an echo chamber. That's what you've built for yourself. It's the only way flat earth survives. is if you sit in that echo chamber and repeat each other and pretend that Steve Falconer's video did anything other than prove the globe. The South Celestial Pole is visible from the South continents. It rotates just like the North Celestial Pole, but clockwise instead. The South Pole itself is a geographic location. It's verified by directional convergence and solar angles. The reverse sun and moon motion, easily explained by simply saying the word sphere. Tropic of Capricorn behavior, curving to the left, not to the right, easily explained by saying the word sphere. Southern star trails, matching observation.
Wait, did he say the Tropic of Capricorn, the sun is curving to the left, not to the right? Is that what he said? My observation in December showed the sun going from this way, going to the right, not to the left.
That's right.
That's weird.
That's right. Someone mentioned that in my chat today. They remembered when this came up. Someone mentioned
it literally did opposite of what he just said.
Yeah.
Sorry, Mr. Jiren, you didn't really do the research you think you did.
That only make sense with a spherical rotating Earth. Circumpolar stars in the south that would never work on a flat Earth, impossible, but they work perfectly when you say the word sphere. Sunrise and sunset, left to right, setting and rising, predicted on a globe, unexplainable, and a paradox on flat Earth. The apparent fake second refracted something cop-out sun is basically the only out that the flat Earth has, is to introduce apparent suns, second suns, third suns, reflected suns, even though that's not how the world works. So my final thoughts.
Whoa. Did he not say he wants answers? Now he just literally said, well, they do give answers, I just don't accept them. Correct?
Yeah, but that's the point. He's going to put us for fools, saying everything and the opposite and then say, oh, I said that.
But how can he say flat earthers don't present anything, and now he says, well, they do present, I just don't accept it? Well, then you're not a truther. You're just a na'aha. You're a glober, in other words. You're a, they're not sending me anything, they're not giving me anything, la, 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 la. That's all he's doing.
Of course. He always was.
Mm-hmm.
He always was a glober. You cannot turn back to the globe.
Thank you, Austin. I know you too want the truth. So being that we saw the same thing, I think it's time that we figure out how you can see differently than I do now. If the globe accounts for every single observation that we saw on the trip, and the flat Earth didn't account for any, it failed. It was disproven. It was falsified. Then I have to ask you, Austin, why you would remain in the camp that has nothing, and is that still you being a truther?
No.
But at the end of the day, I have something that he does not really. It's an explanation that actually works. So to the audience, I'm not asking you to believe me. I just ask you to think, to test, to observe, to not just discount me outright. Listen, learn, and take it in, and then go and do your own observations. I've got evidence tonight that you can do on your own. You don't need NASA, you don't need authority. You can figure out by the end of today what the shape of the Earth is. And we were wrong. It's okay. Guess what? I'm a truth seeker. I told you guys that we were looking for the shape of the Earth. We found it. Let's move on. Let's get over it. Let's get past it. Thank you.
All right, you are muted.
Yep.
So I'm trying to make sure we're right here. So it's rebuttals right now. Do I do my opening right now or my rebuttal?
Not sure.
You just said it's
your
rebuttal
opening
right
now, and then you guys will do your rebuttals, starting with Jiren.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right. Let me replace. Okay, cool. I don't have a timer. Here, I'll set a timer.
I got a timer here.
Okay, yeah, just let me know when I'm getting close or whatever, and it's cool.
Yeah, I'll call out the 1 minute mark.
Okay, cool. I'm gonna do this.
You would think if you pay $55, it'd be a bit more.
Okay, cool.
A bit more. How can I put it? Professional. A bit more organized. I mean, I wouldn't pay $65 for that, to be honest.
All right, so yes, Jiren and I are obviously have been friends for quite a while, and we did. It is somewhat poetic that we're doing this at the summits, which we used to run together, and we did indeed go to Antarctica. So I am going to have to just, it's a debate, and so I'm just going to have to do what we do in debates. So I will lay this out, and I'll save a lot of the stuff I maybe would have said for the rebuttal period. But to lay out kind of the issue with the South Pole claim and what happened in Antarctica, right? It's really simple. It's just an illogical premise, right? Because it affirms the consequent, and in its core, it's an appeal to incredulity. This is why I did not flip to the globe. That is my answer. Is that to maintain logical consistency, I could not have flipped on all of the logical foundation, the evidences, the refutations, simply because I, at one point, didn't understand how something worked. If I were to say, oh, well, I can't see how this would work on a flat Earth, therefore it can't be flat, therefore it must be a globe, that's called an appeal to incredulity.
100% agree with Whitsitt there, oddly enough, because this is what we always bring up. Why do you ignore all the hundreds of evidences that shows not a globe, and then you want to take one evidence that gives you a bias that you say, well, I think it could be a globe based on that, therefore it's a globe. So I agree with what Whitsitt's saying there. I have no issue with what he's saying, because that's the truth. But unfortunately, that's not appeal to incredulity. That is an appeal to biasness. That's all.
But meaning I don't understand it, so it can't be true. And this is a very dangerous fallacy, right? This if we applied that standard to everything else in the world, then we would have never made any type of progression. So that's like my core issue with it is the people I have seen flip when I ask them then how it could work on a flat Earth. And that kind of leads into the next part, right? Which is that they shift the burden that I would say that the globe holds over to
I agree with that
me
too.
or a flat earther, right? Shifting the burden of proof, which is the person that challenges or denies your positive assertion, you're asking them to prove that it isn't true. So yes, it is correct. I will say that the flat Earth is the default position because it is. I think Jiren is going to be more honest than most people, right? So when we typically debate this conversation, so I would imagine he would acknowledge that the default position is that the Earth's a stationary plane. He said that we figured it out over time that we've been able to replace it. Like we can discuss that, right? But the default position is that the Earth is stationary. The default position is that the Earth is a topographical plane. We utilize it as such, like for almost everything that we do, for transportation, for civil engineering. We actually build that way. We fly planes that way. Like we have to utilize it as a plane. We actually measure elevation vertical, perpendicular to a horizontal baseline that is the sea level, the horizontal datum, and it goes on and on. There are many evidences that we live on a plane, but it is the default position. Therefore, just logically speaking, to claim that the antithesis of that is true, right? The opposite of that, it has the burden of proof.
Yeah, but this is why it falls on with a false dichotomy, because they're making an extreme opposite. It's either one or the other. There's no in between. There's no room for, okay, there's another answer to whatever is questioned. So yes, he's saying the things correct. I agree with what he's saying.
Well,
but yeah,
but
it does seem to me like he's still skirting around, just trying to.
That's the whole point of the scam. I tell you why, because what I believe is that since they fucked up so much with TFE, now they entered a phase of like damage control. So they're going to sacrifice Jiren in order to save Whitsitt. Instead of throwing Whitsitt with Jiren, now what they're going to do is show that Whitsitt makes sense. He's still a flat earther and he's against Jiren. Like David Weiss also is against Jiren. So they're sacrificing, that guy in order to, save their own names and reputation and try to attempt to say I have no part of this. I'm not with Jiren. I'm not part of his team, and that's what's going on. This is why I don't believe everything he says, because that guy got caught lying, faking, and now suddenly he's like he has right opinion about flat earth. This is all fucking bullshit. This is I don't believe him. It's a game. It's a game. Be careful.
Yeah, look, it does still seem to me almost like it's scripted.
Yeah,
they're snakes. They're snakes. You have to be careful.
But I can't say anything wrong with what he's presenting right now. That's what I'm saying. His argument he's presenting does seem, I would agree with.
Well, I tell you something. If you want to poison somebody, you're not just going to give him poison. You're going to put the poison in the nice plate with the best food, healthy food he likes, he loves. So that's the way they do it. This is the way it works. So of course, he has to say things in order to seduce you. To sell you what he wants you to sell. what he wants to sell you. Sorry. So the thing is that, again, of course, he's going to say nice things. Politicians also say nice things, but you have to be careful because you never forget what he did before. It doesn't goes with everything he says. You understand? So you have don't be fooled. Don't remember everything about him. Be careful.
Yeah, look, like I said, I still don't believe that Whitsitt is also being 100% honest with what's going on. I do believe that. I think he's part of it still. I just think he's playing the other side of the coin.
You cannot you cannot be a truther and be like a 50% liar, 50% saying the truth. You have to be all the way or not. You have to be like totally you have to be true. You cannot be like if you're only true like at like 90%, you're a liar. That's not being true. This is what lie is. Lie is just uses truth. It's like a corruption of the truth. That's what it is. So that's what happening here. I don't believe in that guy. I don't trust him. It's over. It's done. File closed for me. It's just like that's the way I think. Anyways,
I don't really think that Jiren is denying that. I think he's saying that he thinks
he's
it's been satisfied. But the only issue is that if you didn't go to satisfy that burden, it cannot be an articulation of an appeal to incredulity because you don't understand how it can work on a flat Earth. It can't be, well, if I assume that Earth's a globe, this makes perfect sense. It makes more sense to me than whatever I would think of a flat Earth. I had reified a model prior to this, and therefore, since it doesn't work with the reification of my prior model, it can't be flat. It must be globe. These are just fallacious, and this is the very issue that's got us into this free falling through an infinite vacuum infinitely at 66,600 miles per hour nonsense that we currently were told is true. This is the very line of reasoning that got us into the ever expanding Copernican model that people believe to be true. Now, I don't know Jeran's specific position now. I don't know if he's geocentric.
Hey, what's up, Sean? Good to see you. How's it going?
Hey guys, thanks for having me on.
Hey Sean.
Yeah, it's good to have you, man. So what is your thoughts on this debate though? Because you moderated though, so.
Oh, it was all I could do to control my facial expressions. Many times, that's why I turned my camera off so many times, because I was having visceral reactions to hearing someone just say stuff that they've refuted for years, and then say it now as if they've never refuted it, and as if they don't understand it. Suddenly, it's like, man, they cloned Tyrone. What happened?
Yeah, but that's the one thing we picked up now on Jeran's opening. That's the one thing we actually called him out on us. Like literally, he's acted like everything he's done has never existed. You know what I mean? He's playing victimization. He's playing the victimization game here, and acting like he's holier than thou of everybody. And nobody does research. Nobody does anything. Everything he fought for, he acts like he never said.
Yeah, damage control.
Yeah, even what he just said about which way the sun sets in the southern hemisphere, I'm sitting there going, the thing he's never said every time he mentions that is which direction he's facing.
Mm-hmm.
He just states what you stated. Obviously, you responded to refute him, but when he brings that up, I can't interrupt during the debate, but that was like I was biting my tongue. I wanted to stop and say, "Wait a minute, Jiren, could you share for the audience which direction were you facing?" But I felt like that would have come across as bias. But that's the question I would have, because I've heard him make that claim multiple times on his channel since he got back. And I'm sitting there going, but yeah, which direction are you facing?
Yeah, but that also makes it difficult because he clearly, everybody in TFE, we saw they had different souths and norths located when they put it in the snow. So they couldn't even know where the true south or north was in the first place. And then he had the goal to have the compass upside down, so it would be literally stuck at a place. So he probably couldn't get the north and south to sit still, so he turned it upside down so that it could be at a rigid place, so he could make his video about it. So I see a lot of
compass
in these guys.
Towards the end, we do the Q&A, and someone had dropped a question about the compass in the Q&A. I just didn't have time to get to it because it was a 30-minute Q&A. And there was a ton of questions, so I was trying to prioritize. And most of the questions were for Jiren, and I didn't want it to come across as just leaving Austin out of it. So I implored a debate rule, which is both people get to respond to the question, even if it's just for a particular person, which has happened to me in a lot of debates. And so, because I wanted to keep Austin involved, to give him a chance to speak. And also, I was correct in my assumption that Jiren was going to use the Q&A section to just, act like it's more rebuttal, or still act like it's cross-exam time, as opposed to sticking strictly to just answer the question and shut up and let Austin answer. You know what I'm saying? So like it was like herding cats. You know what I mean? Because they were both passionate, and they both didn't care about how much time they had. They probably could have gone for hours, but hopefully they'll do a part 2 and flesh out more questions. I do want to say, I know you guys don't have a positive attitude towards Austin, but he did, towards the end, he did ask a few relevant questions to Jiren with seemingly the same passion and confusion that we all have, which is, bro, how in the world is this stuff coming out of your mouth? How can you think like this? How can you abandon all the logic that you've been talking about for years? Like, how you just ignore all these other evidences in light of this one particular experiment, concept, or observation, I should say. And so it was somewhat gratifying towards the end, but I hope they do a part 2. There's a lot more to talk about between them.
Yeah. Well, the other question I would have is, do you think this debate was worth $65?
I was trying to make it worth it, right? So what I mean by that is, I actually paused the timer during the cross exam a few times, just so they could finish a point and not run out of time. Otherwise, they would have just exhausted. Just same thing with the question and answer time period, which was only 30 minutes. All three of us didn't have a lot of time last night or 2 nights ago, whenever it was. Was it last night?
Yeah, it was.
So we didn't. Yes. What is today? No, it was 2 nights ago. Today's Monday. So we didn't have a lot of time, so we had to wrap it up within about 2 hours. But it could have easily been like a 4-hour debate. They did not want to, once they start getting into it back and forth with each other, they did not want to be limited on time or restrained. I can't believe that they haven't spoken to each other about these issues since the trip. It genuinely felt like the first time that they were hashing it out. And so I think you're going to be entertained by the latter part of the debate.
Yeah. So just give me 2 seconds. I just got to quickly move my daughter.
That is rather odd, though. Why haven't they spoken
It is odd.
since they got back?
I know Austin had a lot of personal issues he's been going through, and so I don't know. And of course, Jiren, I don't think he's responding to people unless you reach out to him. I don't think he's actively reaching out to anybody in the FB community anymore. So,
how do you know they're not in contact? Says who?
No, of course we don't know, right? Of course we don't know the behind the scenes. I'm just saying the way they talk to each other in this debate, it seemed pretty genuine, and it seemed like they started getting pretty passionate. You're going to see some moments where Austin gets pretty annoyed because Jiren keeps interrupting him, and he has to check Jiren a little bit.
He does, but he also lets him off with a few fallacies and stuff like that as well. He says he actually says, I could have called you out on a good few fallacies that. But in any other debate, Whitsitt would have pulled out that fallacies. Not a problem.
Well, here's the thing about the fallacies. Interlocutors are going to make fallacies unless the interlocutors agree with the moderator before the debates that the debate can be stopped based on a fallacy, or that the moderator can interrupt based on a fallacy. Then the fallacies just go unchecked in every debate that I've ever been a part of. So before this debate, we did not lay any ground rules that if one of the two of them are engaged in a fallacy, that the moderator can step in, call it out, and make him readdress his statement or rebuttal. That's a really, really strict debate, but I didn't want to impose that rule because I thought Jiren's not going to do this if that rule is imposed. So because he didn't have a lot to bring forward other than his complaints and fallacies. So if you wanted to see the fireworks, it was the leniency that was required. Otherwise, it'd have been too strict, and I don't think Jiren would have even participated.
Got you.
Okay, let's carry on. Got a lot to go through.
Interest or not, etc. But we're talking specifically more about the shape. Is it a globe is the question. So I'm going to list off some evidences. I just want to make that very clear that on its face, a stationary topographical plane is the default position based on empirical evidence. The antithesis of that would be that it's actually a globe, that it's a sphere, that the Earth is spinning convexly at a certain rate, and therefore it has the burden of proof. And if you point to the sky and say, well, if we were on a sphere, when I get over to the other side of it, everything would be upside down. And since this stuff looks upside down, therefore the Earth has to be a sphere, because I can't understand how that would work on a flat Earth. That isn't a sufficient argument. That is affirming the consequent, shifting the burden, reifying your model, begging the question, and more importantly, it's just an appeal to incredulity. That's what it is. So that's why I don't resonate with it at all. So I'll list off some of the evidences of how we know that it is flat. It is a default position. Any positive claim requires the burden. And I actually don't resonate with people that just say stuff in the sky doesn't matter and they throw their hands up. And I can understand even Jeran's frustration with that, because I don't resonate with that at all. I think that we should always try to understand the way that things work. We should always seek out answers. We shouldn't try to look at this as some type of little gotcha game where we don't have to answer that. Haha. But it is true that just because I observe a celestial phenomena, it doesn't then make all other evidences dissipate. Right. So we look at the preponderance of evidence, we have to stay logically consistent, and we have to see what the empirical evidence actually says. And then we go and test it and we see what the answer is. We don't throw out 95% of evidence because there's 1 or 2 or 10 outliers that we don't know how to currently explain.
I agree.
So I would say one of the really strong pieces of evidence that we live on a plane is something that we recently found out, which is if you actually take angle measurements to stars, say from a ground and from the surface of the Earth, you're going to see that the star gets occulted by the mountain. As soon as that moment happens, you can take the time, you can measure that angle, and you can compare it to the angle of, like, say, in Stellarium. At that exact time you took the time measurement, as soon as the star was occulted, you can then go to the mountain, compare that angle, and it is as if it is planar geometry.
Exactly that word. It's exactly that. Because elevation angles require the Earth to be flat. It's exactly that. I agree with what he's saying. So I can't really say anything other than, yeah. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, at the end of the day, 95% of evidence shows it's flat. Why do you need to worry about 5% that throws everything away just because you don't have how can I put it? Don't yet know how to explain it.
Explain something. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So yes, I agree with that. Because we don't need to be as low as the globe is whenever it's shown, okay, look, this goes against your positive claim. What are they? Then they come up with gravity or refraction. They always have some kind of excuse to defend why it's not showing what their globe specifically entails it to show. And I mean, it was the same thing with Luca last night when he gave me that $1,000 challenge.
Oh.
I gave him exactly what he wanted. He moved the goalposts. I gave him 5 more videos showing exactly what he wanted. And he still goes to this day saying, no, it's okay. I don't owe him any money because it's like, what? You're the one that lost, dude. Yeah, you know what I mean? It's insane. They only move goalposts constantly because they have nothing.
Yeah, it went from 1,000 to 50 to, oh, you remember that gift I gave you? Take it out of that gift.
Quite sad.
Geometry, it matches perfect. The flat Earth prediction to that star matches perfect, whereas the globe, it would be an entirely different position, many degrees different. And the issue is that they would then have to try to claim refraction, but the star has already been occulted prior to the measurement, so refraction can't even be applicable. So the actual occultation of the star in relation to topography, and the guy that initially went and made this measurement was a glober. He went out there and he saw that the prediction is, you can predict it perfectly with flat Earth, doesn't match the globe at all, and refraction didn't work. He ended up leaving the globe. So it's very similar experience to what Jeran experienced, only he went the other way. Right. So that just is a piece of evidence.
Hey,
yeah.
Is everyone familiar with the celestial theodolite experiment he's talking about?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know about the people in chat though.
Yeah, I just didn't know if you guys had reviewed it on the channel yet or not, but it's kind of fairly new FE proof.
The celestial theodolite actually been discussed for, well, I think we've discussed for what, a year and a half ago.
About the physical mountain occulting the star?
Well, how the celestial theodolite works, not the occulting of the mountain though. That's quite new.
Yeah, that's Yeah, that's the experiment. I think that's new. Yeah, I know that Austin's Discord and the guys and some of the Glowbusters guys, they're really big on this, and so Jiren kind of headways dismisses it, just like he does Joseph Hamby's model for possibility of a 24-hour sun on a firmament optic. And so it's just he tries to bring it up later, but Jiren still doesn't have an answer for it. He actually admits that he doesn't quite understand it and didn't really look into it that deeply.
But that's interesting, though. Then by Jeran's own, how can I say, his own, I'm trying to think of the right word. He should be scrutinized for his own way of holding evidence then, because he claimed, well, because I can't explain the 24-hour sun, therefore it's not a flat earth. Then why can't he hold the same kind of scrutiny against this? Because now he can't explain that. So then why does he think it's a globe still?
No, I agree with you. There's a lot of bias that makes no sense. Yeah. It's just absolute, like, hand over eyes, hand over ears. These are not the droids you're looking for kind of mentality. It's weird.
Yeah. And it's the same thing about Whitsitt. There's a lot of hypocrisy with him, because on one side you see now he's saying some nice things and he's saying some things that we want to hear. Whatever he says now is true, but in the same time he's going to tell you that he went to Antarctica, that he saw a 24-hour sun. So you see, this is how they playing us for fools. These people. It does, it's the same game. They're going to say something nice. You're going to be seduced by what he says. Oh, yes, he's right. But actually, when you look at the entire picture, it's totally wrong.
Yeah.
You understand? That's the thing. Look at the entire picture. Don't get fooled by some nice, demonstrations, some nice, ideas that he is going to just, put ahead. But be careful. Those people are liars. The fact that he went to Antarctica, that he accepted to go there to see if there was a 24-hour sun was already an act of betrayal, because we know it's not possible, and we checked it. It's already established.
Well, that's the thing. Yeah, but that's also the thing I say. Yes, they didn't present any evidence, so I don't really have to believe what they present anyway.
They're still trying to present their observation that they claim. There's no proof of this observation. Any videos we got were at best questionable.
No problem. So if you talk about observations, ask Whitsitt, did you observe mountains trembling over there, or trucks, disappearing into, thin air, or, straight lines with like right angles in the skies? Did he observe that? Because we did observe it.
But
so, maybe.
The irony. The irony of this, the irony of this,
trying to legitimize their lie. It's basically them going, "Come on, man, believe us."
But even the irony of this, even the irony of this, even if we had to accept what they were saying, it would show the sun was local. So it doesn't actually matter which way they want to go. If you don't accept it, which we don't, it doesn't show a globe, and if we do accept it, it shows a flat Earth. So it's a joke, actually.
Yeah, and the sun is even more local over there, because you can see the sun that goes in front of the mountain and, in front of, Macton's face. So it's fucking local. It's very local.
I think most of you on the panel may already know this about me, but I do believe they won the trip. I do believe they make the observation. I do believe that it can be demonstrated with the firmament model. I don't know how everyone feels about the firmament. But I'm actually investigating in about 2 years, taking a trip down there myself to do an experiment, and possibly leaving from South Africa to a different destination.
Yeah, Troll Station.
So, it's called Wolf something, Wolf Landing.
Yeah. They go from Cape Town and then they travel through Troll Station to go to what's that?
Yeah, and so basically,
right here,
I'm interested in doing my own research. That I won't be announcing when I do this. It won't be fundraised. It won't be none of that stuff. I'm just gonna, if I can swing it in about 2 years, I would like to take a trip and do my own observations and record them. Because if it does show a 24-hour sun on the exterior edge of the circle of the Earth that's enclosed by a firmament, and we can replicate it on a firmament, guys, that is groundbreaking. That is ridiculously groundbreaking. That's something that we need to be talking about, not just dismissing it. So,
but that's also one thing why I like why you're doing that as well. I mean, Roger's also trying to get over there and do it and everything, which I really fully stand behind. The thing is, this is why we asked Duffy specifically, why didn't you try and go look for the firmament roller? And his response to us was, well, he doesn't believe there's a firmament.
Yeah.
So yeah, it wouldn't have been more in interest to roll the take an expedition to, try and traverse through and find the firmament than do something that is anyway not going to determine the shape of the ground.
Yeah. To me, it's like it wouldn't change my mind ever about the shape of the ground because we do different tests for that. It's just because I believe in the Bible and I believe it describes a solid firmament over us. That would be an amazing proof of evidence to say, oh yeah, we are enclosed by a firmament, and here's how it matches the optical effects of sunlight on the exterior edge of a firmament. And so, did I tell you guys I actually contacted a tourist boat company trying to see how much it would cost to book a boat around Antarctica? Yeah. A few months back, I contacted this tourist company because they're a part of the International Tourist Association that takes cruises to the shoreline of Antarctica, and you basically have to get approved basically to hire your own chartered boat through this particular agency. As we all know, right, it's all controlled, right? So I at least contacted somebody and said, hey, how much would it cost if I were to privately charter a ship with my own captain and go and circumnavigate the continent of Antarctica? And they responded and they said, hey, thanks for your interest, yada yada. A trip like that, the ship and the captain, it would take approximately 3 months to circumnavigate Antarctica. I'm sorry to report to you that no captain would ever volunteer for that trip. That it would cost approximately $2 million, and it would take about 90 days minimum to circumnavigate the continent, and no captain would ever volunteer.
But that's interesting though, because all we get from the globe is don't you look at the Vendée race? They go around Antarctica. But that's the thing. They want to always claim that, but like you said, now you can't even get someone to charter a boat just to go around Antarctica. Why is that? It's really odd. It's these kind of things that make everybody very skeptical about the things that Globe pushes.
Imagine the response is before they even give you the price, which is why you emailed them, they make sure to disclose to you, you'll never find a captain that will do this.
Yeah, or you never find it back, because maybe if they give you the authorization, they're going to make sure you're never going to come back. So I believe that if you want to go to Antarctica, you have to do it totally illegally, totally like
here's the thing.
Drug dealers,
I agree with you. Getting on land in Antarctica is a different conversation. I just wanted to book a chartered ship to go around the coastline, just to sail 20 miles off the coastline and keep the coastline in sight, and then charter how long it takes according to nautical miles and see the globe predictions and see if you can even go around it, which I don't believe you can, right? Unless there's an actual extra undocumented landmass below Chile that they're calling Antarctica. And so, there's a whole bunch of reasons what I would want to just explore basically and try to figure out where we're being lied to.
Well, we can reach Antarctica from New Zealand, straight away go to South America. We can reach Antarctica from all over the plane.
You reach a landmass they call Antarctica for sure.
Yeah, of course. I believe that you have to do it totally illegally. You have to have a submarine or some shit not to be detected. You have to be I don't know. Hey, check it out. It's possible. You have drug cartels in Mexico that have their own submarines and they evade all the surveillance. They do it. They can do it for drugs. We can do it for flat Earth. Why not? We can probably work with them.
You've probably heard the conversation saying they wanted to stifle the airships, the helium hydrogen powered airships, so people could not freely explore Antarctica. But with the invention of these new flying drone cars, it actually could be possible. If you had a solar powered flying drone car, you take off from a ship off the coastline of Antarctica, you could do some exploration.
That's a great idea. That's a good idea. Excellent idea.
I don't know if you guys have seen the innovations in those, but they're coming along quite well, where you can travel 700-800 miles on a charge, and you can stay 1,000 feet off the ground. So I don't know. I'm not publicly declaring them to do anything illegal. I'm just saying.
Yeah. Well,
that's where my interest lies. Is I think there's other ways to disprove they're lying to us than just going to a tourist destination and looking for a 24-hour sun.
Yeah, and I applaud you for that, man, because it's always good to try and explore and see what's going on. If you can do something like that, that'd be great. I mean, this reminds me of when we had that, what's that, Gear 74. Remember when he wanted to charter a flight? And then at the end of the day, he knew, okay, no, he's not going to do it anymore because he didn't think flat earthers were going to be serious about it.
Yeah.
And he ended up backing out the last minute. And there's a reason why they back out with these things, because they know it's impossible. Okay, let's go on with the actual debate.
And there is no sufficient rebuttal I've heard for the globe. We can also talk about the linear distribution of the electrical field. We actually have an electrical field on the Earth, and it's a linear distribution, horizontal field lines of the electrical field. This cannot happen. It has to be a radial distribution on a sphere, and it would actually fall off exponentially away from the center. But that's not what we observe. We don't observe that. The linear distribution of the electrical field is a major issue. It's an impossibility on a sphere, right? So what typically happens, I'm guessing that we're getting close to my time. So I got a few more minutes. So what typically happens is it is what we've always experienced. And this is why I will be very blunt. I'm quite perplexed about Jeran's approach. Like I was there with him. To all the people that are saying that he's faking, he's not. I was there. I am in no way going to attack Jeran's character in terms of if I think that he believes this or if he's being honest. I think that he does believe it. He does feel like he's being honest, and he feels that he's willing to take shots and attacks to do it. So that's
okay. This is where I disagree with Whitsitt, because the whole community doesn't even believe Whitsitt to begin with as well.
No.
So
well, that's David Way's agenda. Yeah, they went there. The sky is fake, the sun is fake, everything is fake. They lied about everything. It was a scam, but they went there.
No, in the beginning, I also thought they're not going to go. I do believe they did go, though. But I don't think they saw the 24-hour sun as they're trying to portray it. There's just too many coincidences and deception displayed in there.
That's why it's so important for them to make us believe that despite all the proofs that we have that everything was fake, they still were there. Because if you believe that they were there, then you can believe there is a 24-hour sun somehow in the flat Earth model. You understand? Because if you understand that they were never there, they could not go there because it's so
the
fake.
24-hour,
Yeah.
the 24-hour sun still does follow a flat Earth too, based on biblical cosmology, because the Bible is very clear. The sun takes a circuit around the north and the south. It's inside the firmament, so it does fit biblical cosmology.
If you put like a mirror like this, if you put different domes, and if you do invent things that are not in the Bible, because how can you have a 24-hour sun, observable in one point on the other rim, of the Earth, if on the other, in the same time the sun is being observed somewhere else?
Let's say, like the Bible says, the sun is put in the firmament. Okay, let's say in the firmament,
not in the firmament. In Hebrew, it's very important to
in the
understand.
Hashim.
No, it's in the dome of the dome, because it is written that God the fourth day put the sun and the moon, even though they are not called sun and moon at that point, they're called like the big luminary and the small luminary. They were put in the Rakia Hashamayim, which in Hebrew means the
open
dome
heaven.
the dome of the skies. Textually,
open heavens. Yes.
The problem is that skies is the name of the dome that was given to the dome on the second day.
Hashamim, yeah.
So now you're saying the dome of the skies. So that means you can translate the dome of the dome, since skies is also the name of the dome. You understand?
Yeah,
that means you understand
that's why
that
they have the two different.
There is a layer, there is a dome, and there's a dome of the dome. There is and they are in that layer.
Mm-hmm.
They cannot go down. Just
That's
like
what I'm saying. So if it does follow the Bible, then it can definitely have a sun 24 hours if it really needs to, because it could be physically in the dome of the dome, like you're saying, and what we're seeing in the tropics could just be the reflection.
Yeah, but okay. But if it's possible, I don't believe so far, because I don't understand how it can be possible. But let's say, but it could never be what they showed us on their movie, because the sun is clearly
what they
fake.
showed is
totally fake. It's like totally. And
Yeah.
if there was a 24-hour sun, why did they have to fake that? Why did they have to
Exactly.
fake the sun?
Why?
So
That's why I don't believe them.
So that's the thing. It's all fake. I have no other choice. Even if I wanted to believe that they went there, I love them. I want to be. I cannot believe it. I'm forced. I'm forced to accept the truth, which they never went to Antarctica, because everything is fake. The sky is fake. The sun is fake. The snow is fake. They're fake. Everything. So what the hell? They never went there. And also the dates. How come he left California on the 10th? And they arrived on the 14th or 16th.
Yeah, it doesn't take 3 days to fly to Puntas from California.
Everything is wrong. Everything goes to into that direction that they never went in Antarctica. They might have went in another place where there are lots of ice. You know, I tell you something. In Chile and in Argentina, you have places that look like Antarctica, exactly like Antarctica. You can go on the
islands. There's islands that look like that.
You have places that are full of snow and ice for thousands of years and never moved. So they can, maybe they went there, maybe I don't know. But something is certain: they could never been in Antarctica because they proved it to us. Their movie proves it. You understand? This is it's like the moon. If you believe they went in Antarctica, you can believe that maybe they went to the moon and they faked they faked their footage, but they went to the moon. Same thing. It's ridiculous for me. It's like it's crazy. It's like it's beyond But anyways, again, I might be wrong. We can always be wrong, but it'd be hard to, I believe, at that point to prove.
Yeah, at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. It still comes down to it doesn't disprove a flat Earth. So
no, exactly, it doesn't matter for that point for flat Earth, but it does matter to understand who are these people into the flat Earth community. What they're working for, what are their objective, because they are attacking us from within. So that matters for us to understand who they are, identify them, and isolate them. Like put them in quarantine or something. This is important because we have like snakes next to us. If I have a snake like 2 feet away from me, I'm gonna worry about it. I'm gonna do something about it. You understand? So that's the thing. It's not for the flat Earth, concept, but for the flat Earth community, which is for me the main target of these people.
Yeah.
But anyways, again,
because it doesn't really matter. Take all the personal stuff out of it. We're trying to figure out actually what the truth is. Yes, I went to the south. We went to what is seemingly Antarctica, a giant sheet of ice south from Punta Arenas. We saw the sun and it circled around us and it didn't go down. So then to claim that proves that it's a globe, I would have to say, if the Earth's a sphere, in the winter, when I go to Antarctica, the sun will be in the sky for 24 hours. Oh, look, sun stays in the sky, does a circle for 24 hours, therefore Earth's a globe. It's a textbook affirming the consequent. Textbook affirming the consequent fallacy. I could say Sasquatch delivers me mail every Friday. I could go find out that there's mail in my mailbox on Friday, therefore Sasquatch is real. To apply that type of logic, it is an infinite regression. You would never find truth. So this is the reason why I haven't flipped. It's because of the empirical evidence, and we could list them off, and it's endless, right? Just the base empirical position, the default position based on empirical evidence that the Earth's flat. How are we even actually making accurate elevation angle measurements in the center of a continent if we're using a horizontal datum, a horizontal baseline that starts at the sea that's thousands of miles away? We extend that horizontally to the center of a continent and then measure a vertical distance above that, perpendicular to it. How is it that planar geometry is perfectly predicting and matching the angle to that star once it's occulted by the mountain, and matches the based on the time of the observer standing on the top of the mountain? You can draw a straight line from observer to top of the mountain to star, and it perfectly matches an angle down to a horizontal baseline with planar geometry, where it's significantly different on a globe. But yet the star's not where it's supposed to be, and we can't invoke refraction because it's after the star is occulted.
1 minute.
Yeah. Right.
So I will say,
such a good point, though. Saying something, Sean? Okay. Well, that's a very good point, Whitsitt. Yes, that can't work on a globe at all, but they would ignore that. They would ignore that fact that occultation can only happen based on the angle from a flat Earth.
Yeah, in fact, I think when you heard Sean, it was on the video. He was telling Whitsitt what.
Oh, probably, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's difficult because you can't see if it's there or there.
I know.
basically, what always happens is people say, well, then how would this work, this work, this work, this work? And if I don't get my answers, then you lose Earth's a globe, as if we are to grant them the presupposition of a model that they have reified. That is not how it works logically. So yes, in conclusion, the Earth default position is as a stationary topographical plane. The burden of proof is on the other side and needs to prove it. And when there's direct geometric refutations to that claim, they cannot be hand waved because there's another celestial observation that you think is better explained by that model that was just refuted, right? We can't actually skip over to that part. So that is very simply my position, and I think that is based on the logical parameters of how we actually examine the discussion in the first place.
Yeah,
so.
Very logical. I tell you something. You know what? It's like.
All right, thank you.
You see I see that guy like. I'm gonna give you like a crude image, but so you understand. It's like a hooker, telling you how important it is to like dress up, decently. And she's gonna just talk to you about how to dress up decently, but she's a fucking hooker, dressed up like a hooker. And you're gonna listen to her. You're gonna say, "Oh yes, you're right. Actually, you're right." You understand? So it's exactly the same thing. Those people are like, discuss me that on one side they can say the truth.
It's the same thing as don't do what I do. You know what I mean?
Believe what I say. Yeah, that's what they take. So that's why it's interesting, because something is going on here. There's a game being played. We are being played. So we have to focus on that. Don't let them bring you where they want. Like they want you to focus on the flat Earth and the proofs about the sun. But that don't fall in that trap. This is not for them the objective to discuss about the flat Earth. It is to divide us, to implode us, and to confuse us, and to make sure that we won't grow the way we should. You understand? So these people are like, you have to understand that. You have to analyze them for what they are. And when somebody lies to me like one time, twice, three times, that's it. It's over. I don't believe in anything he says. If he gives me the right time, I won't believe it. So that's the same thing. You have to make sure that these people are like out, totally out. You know that they're not true. They're not. If they're saying the truth, there's a purpose. They're dangerous for the community. That's it. They prove themselves being so. I'm working on making a video, a very, very strong video, exposing point after point all this and proving, what they do and how they do it and what they say and how they say it. So, soon hopefully I'll be able to finish it, because it's a big work. But it's important for us not to be fooled by these people.
Yeah,
because they're like deceivers.
Mm-hmm. You awesome? Mm-hmm. All right, gentlemen. The next part of the debate is the rebuttals.
Yeah, this should be getting interesting.
Jiren 7 minutes to rebut to what he just heard.
So this is just me presenting myself. Okay, gotcha. It's not asking questions. That'll be okay. Gotcha.
You're just going to respond to what Austin said.
Okay, thanks.
Let me add you to the full screen. All right, you're good.
Okay, so the issue I have there is that the way Austin's describing it, he's saying that if nobody can explain how something works, well, it doesn't mean it's not true. But we would never get to the truth if that were the case. If the case were that anything could be true, even if it doesn't have any explanation, doesn't explain anything, but somebody just says, well, I think it's true, because that's basically what he's saying, is that if we have different ideas on the shape of the Earth, he's saying it doesn't make a difference if one of them makes all the predictions and the other one makes none, because simply because you don't know how it works doesn't mean it's false. Oh, then that would be true for anything. So I think we live on a dog, and then you...
Jiren, but that's hypocritical. You believe gravity is real, correct? What is the cop-out we always get for gravity, guys? Well, it's the best explanation we have right now. We don't really know what it is or how, but that's the explanation we have. So therefore, gravity is real. But now it's not okay to say, well, we don't know how the sun works. So therefore, what?
Mm-hmm.
That's hypocritical.
Of course.
Total nonsense.
You might say, well, that wouldn't work. How could we live on a dog? And I'd say, well, just because you don't understand how it works doesn't mean it's not true. So, I mean, we could do that forever. We could live on anything then. I mean, you have a group of things that you look at, and then you find out which one better matches the observations. Now, for me, the flat Earth better matches observations when you're talking about the Earth. Looks flat. It operates and appears flat. And everything we do is with the flat Earth. That's because no matter where you're at, it's flat. So you can treat the Earth completely and totally like it's a flat plane. And that's how you best do it when you're flying a plane when you're building a bridge, when you're building a canal. If you took the curvature of the Earth into account, it wouldn't make any sense because where we build is level.
Then
So
why
we
the hell are you claiming to be global, you dipshit?
Exactly. Because one alleged observation.
You understand? This is all they play with confusion. They say everything and the opposite, and then that's how they, they're playing us for fools, and we're like, falling into this. We're losing our time with these people, believe me. But anyways, if we can understand what they have in mind.
Yeah, but you understand what he just said?
Yeah, of course.
He's just literally saying, yes, it's flat.
That's why everything these people say have no value. You understand? They have no value because they lie, they deceive, they say everything and the opposite. They're playing us for fools. So everything they say have no value, unless you want to study them and understand what their end game is. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
But if not, it doesn't matter what I say. They're just like
Yeah. Insane.
There's a spirit level where we're at, and that is a level plane where it is. And yes, down the road that way or that way are not quite still level with where you're at, but that's not needed in any walk of life. We don't ever look down the way and say, oh, how do we line up with that? We just build a canal. We just build a bridge. We just build where we're at. We use a spirit level, and that's how it works on a sphere. You said that, I guess where I was confused, if all observations match predictions, then that's where you live. So I don't know how to better explain this, is that if you're given a map of your apartment complex and you're asking, hey, where's the laundry room? And they say, here's the map. And outside of your door, they show a pool, but there's no pool in front of you. You can then at that point take the map back to the office and say, this map is incorrect because it doesn't match observations. So we have a map like that. It's called the AE map, and it no longer matches the observations.
Well, you see, that's the issue. You're the one pushing the AE map. You have been this whole time. And what have we been saying to you for 10 years? Stop pushing the AE map.
Not to mention, that's just your word that you say that it doesn't match. That's your word. You lied, okay? Everyone has seen you for what you are. All these years of people in Antarctica, nobody put out any credible video, including you. You didn't do it either, okay? NASA's got a station down there. There's been it's not a selling point at all for any tourism whatsoever. So what do you have? You mean to tell me that in all this time of people being in Antarctica, it took you jokers going with Will Duffy, a bunch of dishonest shit people going down there and claiming that they saw a 24-hour sun and bringing back less than reputable video that was torn apart immediately? What was your response? To throw a tantrum and call everyone that has supported you names. Wow.
But you see what I'm saying? You can use the AE map for certain things, what it's made for. But it's usually strawmanned, and TFE has strawmanned the AE map. The problem with Jiren is he used the AE map always as like the flat earth model, quote unquote. And the whole time, what have we been telling him for years now? Stop reifying the map into a model. We've been saying this to him for years. Now he's going around and saying, oh, well, it's been falsified. No, it's a damn map.
Yeah.
Okay? Maps
we are all subject and relegated to the maps that are provided. Okay? Jaren's not a cartographer. Keith's not a cartographer. I'm not a cartographer. Okay? No one here is going to be out there mapping the entire world. So we have what? We have maps that have been provided to us by the system.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So get off your damn map. You don't live on a map.
That's exactly what I'm saying, yeah.
Actual physics destroys the globe claim. 100%.
You don't need to worry about what a map on large scale does, because no one uses maps on large scale to travel. It's anybody where you travel, you use sectional maps because it's sections in a certain area, because then it's the most accurate. Even when you do navigation over the oceans, They have maps in sections for a reason. They even have different scales when they get closer to the shoreline because scale tells a different story. So when they come and say, oh, but you see this map, AE map that they're claiming, is so inaccurate further out. No, shit, Sherlock, it's not made to be accurate further out. Okay?
No.
Nobody uses one map. They use maps.
That's right. That's right. I bring that up all the time. I say, oh, you do a lot of world traveling using a world map, hey? Really? Nobody uses a world map for navigation. No one. That's stupid. That'd be like, in your solar system, use a map of your solar system to get to California. What the hell?
And this is always, that's why we keep trying to point out they use the straw man, and they know it's a dishonest straw man, and they always bring it up.
Yep.
And the fact that Jiren literally is doing that the same shows his dishonesty.
Therefore, you can take it back to the office and say, hey, this map doesn't work anymore. And then you can take the globe and you can say, well, how about this one?
Globe's
and
not a
Austin
map.
mentioned going down to 80 degrees and seeing Punta Arenas and blah, blah, blah. And then he said, but that doesn't mean that the Earth's a sphere. Well, what it points out is that every single location that you or I have ever been to, and I dare say every single location that anybody watching this debate has been to, matches the observations given to us by mapping the Earth on a sphere.
False. When I did my observation of the sun in December, it was about 4 to 5 degrees off of what the globe says.
Yeah.
Okay? That's an actual observation.
Of an alleged globe prediction.
So the only thing that observation showed was the prediction based on your sphere is wrong. Does it either prove a globe or a flat Earth? No, it doesn't. What it does prove is the prediction made by your heliocentric globe cult belief system is false. Simple as that. Again, nothing in the sky is going to predict, or how can I say, dictate what the ground is. He even said himself, everything observed is flat. Everything we use is flat. But now he wants to go to larger scale that has nothing to do with local, where we are literally local beings, and saying, oh, well, I can't explain this locally, so therefore it has to be a globe. Let's just ignore the other 99 things I just said requires flat Earth. Really idiotic. And then he wants to say why we say he's sold out.
It does not match any flat plane, doesn't match any cylinder or pyramid. It matches a sphere. The Earth is mapped on a sphere. You can call any of your friends, no matter where they live, and ask them, hey, can you go check and see if the sunrise, sunset comport to this model and this prediction? And their answer every single time will be yes. We have Google Earth, which has never been disproven by one person. It doesn't.
Yeah, Google Earth is just based on observation through centuries. Literally data taken and placed. That's it. Do you know that eclipses were based on thousands of years of observations by flat Earth civilizations? Did they require the globe for these guys? No, the solar cycles are built on observation. That's it. You guys just back engineered it with math for your sphere and say, oh, look guys, look how smart we are. If let's put it this way. If you guys see a red car come past you every day at 6:05 in the morning in the weekday, is it logical to conclude that next week when you stand, you'll see that same red car come past at 6:05 in the morning?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's logical. Now, does that mean you made a prediction based on shape of the Earth or based on logical observation?
Mm-hmm.
That's what the sky is. All the sun's positions in that time of year and location is literally linked by data, by people observing through the centuries, through all the thousands of years we've been alive.
Yep.
Simple as that.
Yep. It's like, oh, suppose I see that car go by Monday through Saturday, goes by, and then shortly after that car goes by, my mail gets delivered. Okay. Now, does that mean that red car passing by my house caused the mail to be delivered? No, it doesn't. It's just some guy going to work Monday through Saturday, and the mail comes Monday through Saturday around the same time. Not one had nothing to do with the other at all.
Yeah, it's just correlation. And this is what happened to me when I was on Glowbusters that time with this exact argument to Jiren about the sun. And then the whole Glowbusters attacked me because I brought this exact argument up to them.
Don't throw shade on our club, man.
Mm-hmm.
We're the cool kid club, and you're making waves.
Invite me to chat, all happy dappy. As soon as I don't agree with you guys, and then I give this a logical argument, and then attacked me and ended up muting me and kicking me.
Get the angles of the sunrise and sunset wrong. It gets them right, and it's based on a sphere model. You talked about the celestial theodolite, but you need stellarium to even talk about it. So again, now you're using a globe Earth spherical system in order to tell me that the Earth is flat by using the numbers that the sphere system gives you. I'm not even going to go down that road. That seems to be preposterous on its face. Electrical field on the Earth. I don't know what you mean by linear distribution. You mean that it's, I guess I don't know what you mean. It goes up in a linear fashion, I guess is what you mean. So I don't know why that wouldn't work on a sphere. As I said, wherever you're at is level. So therefore, above my head would be a linear progression of electrical field. Doesn't make a difference if the Earth's a sphere because it doesn't matter for where I'm at. You said we went south. We had a giant sheet of ice. Yeah, we did. But you have to remember we saw the sun south of us. And that refutes any flat Earth that's ever existed and will ever exist. That's the thing that people don't realize about this flat Earth. There'll never be another map, not for the rest of your life, not for the rest of your children's lives. There is no other way to map the Earth on a flat plane other than the AE map. That's it. And once the AE map has been...
That is total nonsense. Now he's just making a whole bunch of claims that he cannot back up. Because the AE map is just a representation on a larger scale. That's it.
Falsified. We're done. It's time to get out. You can go back to the drawing board if you want and play around. I did that for 6 months and realized that's it. There's no more. If the sun circles in Antarctica, then it matches all observations of the sphere, and that's what it did. And the you said about the firming the consequent. Where I'm confused on that is, haven't you said before, Nathan Oakley and many people, they all say that the R value has been falsified, that the globe has been falsified. When you ask them why, they say if the Earth is a sphere of blankety blankety blank, and right, and then it's distance to the horizon is 1.22 times the square root of right. Then the Earth's so then they're doing the same thing. So now
no, this is based on your globe positive claim. The radius, the if value of the radius is based on your globe's radius value you give. So what's happening is saying, guys, if we accept your radius value, therefore this would show this. It doesn't show this. Therefore, your if radius value is wrong. Literally showing he doesn't understand modus tollens.
Well, but he understands, how to confuse people. That's what he's doing. It's just like confusing people with his gibberish. Forget about that guy, man. Believe me, they're just like deceivers.
I mean, I used to think Jiren was a bit stupid when he was a flat earther, but now he's just like elevated dumbness. But I mean, I saw the same with Ranty when he did that nonsense of his. He used to fight all the time for perspective and optical phenomena. As soon as he became a glober, he all of a sudden didn't know what optical means, didn't know what perspective means.
Yeah, that's right.
It's weird.
Now the number one evidence of the flat Earth that you guys use, the black swan, is in affirming the consequent. You just said that. If it's not, then why can't somebody say, if the Earth is a sphere and the sun does this, then we would see this in the south and we see that, therefore the Earth is a sphere. If that's not allowed, then neither is saying that the horizon is a little bit higher than it should be on that black swan. Which, by the way, I believe that guy Bo, who did that observation, says that he went out there every day for 6 months and then he saw that observation. So now the flat Earth is using a 1 day out of 6 month observation and going around telling people that that's proof that the Earth.
The fact is, Jiren, that the horizon is an optical phenomena. That's the whole point of the black swan. You guys claim the horizon is a physical place on a sphere. how else do we make this clear? This is why people hate my Red Rhetoric video. That's what I hate when I took the inferior mirage away, because what they say, you took the Earth curve away. Oh, great. So optical phenomena then, not physical Earth curve then. But they're just too dumb up here to understand what they're arguing for.
Has been falsified. That's a joke. It's a literal joke that we would ever think an anomaly, meaning that one day out of, what would that be, 180?
Just PJ, man. Thanks for coming. Appreciate you
No
coming.
problem, dude. Bless you, man.
Much
Enjoy the
blessings.
rest of the
Yeah, we're gonna have to do a part 2 for sure.
really serious to be.
Blessings, man. Thanks for
Love you
coming.
guys. Ta-da.
You rock. Bye. Love you, dude.
Look at his little Bitcoin logo over here too.
Yeah, but that's always what he's been doing. He's been always grifting people on the Bitcoin, you know, on the crypto side and stuff. And you know, some of those people pay quite a lot of money for those courses he gives.
What's he give courses on? How to do perverted shit with dolls and send dick pics?
Wow. Some of this, yeah, it's quite sick. But the thing is, this guy's just a salesman. That's all he is. That's why him and Duffy get along so well. They see opportunities to make money and they take it. Simple as that.
Has an observation that makes the Earth flat, and so we're going to go around telling people that the globe Earth has been falsified because of an anomaly. That's crazy.
So that's a hypocritical statement too. That's what you just did for the flat Earth. Anomaly on a flat Earth is, can we explain the 24-hour sun? So therefore, it's not a flat Earth. Isn't that what he said? But now he's saying the same thing. Oh, there's an anomaly on a globe, so therefore it's not. It still has to be a globe. That's kind of double standards, man.
I think if you have different ideas about the shape of the Earth, which we did, again, I thought that the South was a lie. I thought that they were lying about the southern 24-hour sun. I thought they were lying about what happens south of the 60. That's why I thought they had the Antarctic Treaty. And guess what? I was wrong. When we go down there, we saw that the angles matched perfectly in Punta Arenas. They had the sun going right to left. Again, people need to consider this. If you're on a flat Earth and you're at the south of South America, how is the sun going left? How is the sun going to the south?
What's he talking about right to left? From what direction is he talking about?
He won't tell you that. You just want to sound convincing. That's what it is. It's a show. It's a fucking clown show.
Guess what? There's a model that says the sun will go left, the sun goes south, it goes around the bottom of the Earth, comes back south of east. And that's exactly what we saw. So the globe Earth provides a, and again, I'll fully admit 100%. The globe is counterintuitive, but so is bugs in your tummy. So are a lot of things that we realize now are true. Go take a microscope and pull some bile out of your stomach and you're going to see little swimming creatures. Now, you don't feel like they're in there, but they are. So the globe Earth is the same. You may feel like the Earth's flat. We may feel like there is no curvature. However, we just don't understand large spheres. A sphere can be so big, 24,900.
False equivalence.
Understand? That's what they teach them to do, to say that bullshit like this.
Look at the again, the double standards.
Yeah.
Earth is too big to see Earth curve, but we see Earth curve at 3 miles. You understand the hypocrisy? You see the double speak there.
It's more than hypocrisy. It's like, I think they're trying to recruit, like, retarded people. Like, you have to be a retard, to.
It does feel that way.
Yeah, they need, like, they're losing actually their crowd, their fans there. So they have to, engineer them again, like create them again. So if you believe in what he says, that's the proof that you're more than stupid, like totally, like retarded. You have to be retarded to believe in what he says. It's like, it's crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's like so.
But I mean, even how he's talking, it doesn't sound very intelligent. So I don't understand how people can fall for it.
Look,
1 miles.
I don't know what to tell you. People are, people they like to be stupid. Sometimes it's more comfortable to to live in a lie that makes you feel like makes you feel good. That's what it is. It's like a drug. If you
It's
tell
true.
people that the Earth is not flat, it's gonna destabilize the entire world. And they don't want that. They're scared. They're scared of it. So they're gonna fight for to stay in that lie there. That's known.
In circumference, that you can't tell that it's curved because we're too small. That's how the Earth is a sphere and how it is kind of beautifully created, because you don't have to treat it like it's a sphere. It actually doesn't matter to your life. If you want to be a flat earther, that's fine, but get out of scientific studies, get out of scientific debates, because you don't have the kind of evidence to go up against a globe. You have to better present the world.
You just contradicted yourself again. It doesn't really matter what it is, but get out of science. Get out of flat earth. What? How can it say it doesn't matter and at the same thing, get out? Don't talk about it. Then it does matter.
Is he correcting his new Glober friends on the size of the spheroid they believe in? Like, you guys got it all wrong. It's actually like 100 times bigger than that. Like, he's not doing that.
Yeah, it's quite crazy.
Yeah.
But exactly, Ivan, imagine paying for this drivel. Some people paid the VIP package to listen to this. I mean,
There's a
VIP
sucker
people
born
don't
every
see-
minute. P.T. Barnum.
Yeah. Exactly. There we go. But I mean, some people paid the VIP. Like what? That's $96.
And what'd you get out of that? Oh, you got to. I don't know what you would. What's the return on that? What are you getting for that?
This.
I didn't.
And you get to be part of the Q&A for 30 minutes after the debate.
Oh, neat! Wow.
Wow.
That's definitely worth the money. I can tell you. I'm glad we didn't pay nothing for it.
But yeah, Jiren, if you had to do any science, you would understand your globe won't exist. There is no science for a globe. So this is a challenge to Jiren from Mr. Flatsoid himself. If you want to talk about science, I'm all here. And then I want you to present science for your globe so I can rip it apart for you again.
That's the attitude.
Than the globe does, and the flat Earth can't explain anything. So that's basically it. Get my time.
And time.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you, Jiren, for your rebuttal. And next is Austin. You have 7 minutes as your rebuttal.
Go,
I'll
Austin.
start the timer when you begin talking.
All right, cool. All right, so to rebut your opener and kind of some of the stuff you said right there, I'm just going to list off kind of what's wrong.
You read that?
Yeah,
that's true. Yeah, they do. You can pay that. Literally.
To have lunch with them.
I think at a stage they let people pay $400 so you can have an hour online chat.
What's this lunch? You sit there in front of your computer with your camera on and eat a peanut butter sandwich with him or some shit? What the hell?
But that's what I'm saying. What I'm saying, all these people are about is the money, man.
Pathetic.
That's it.
Well, just like hookers, same thing. They sell their same thing. They sell the entire body for about 90, the same price. I think about $90. You can have a hooker, for a couple of hours also.
You hear that, Jiren? You're a whore. You're a filthy whore.
It's the same thing. It's the same thing. Same price, same thing.
With these arguments. Okay. So we have, again, like I described actually earlier, we have shifting the burden of proof. That's when you make a positive claim. If someone challenges or denies your positive claim, you then tell them they have to prove it. Meaning, if we challenge or deny your claim that the reason that we see that the sun's up in the sky doing a circle for 24 hours is actually because we're tilted antipodal to someone on the other side of this presupposed globe, that actually the sun is 93 million miles away and there's an empty vacuum between us, and therefore, because all of the stars are at such immense distances that we don't ever see them, and that perspective doesn't actually affect where we see them, even though it moves just as if it would be because of perspective like everywhere else. And then about 5 more presuppositions. And you actually require these presuppositions to claim that geometric position of you on the globe is why you see the sun do that. So you list all of those off and then say, if that's not the case, which most of the people defending the globe, they just expect this to be granted. They very conveniently omit that it requires that many presuppositions to even then affirm the consequent that viewing the sun is that way, right? You have to view all of those, you have to claim all of those presuppositions and reify them, presuppose them, and then affirm the consequent to address the idea that we're doing the same thing. We are not, right? Like the black swan argument, for example, was if the Earth is a sphere with a radius of 3,959 miles and the geometric physical horizon is at 1.225 times the square root of the observer's height in feet, it is not. So therefore, the Earth is not a sphere. That is a falsification of a positive claim, as opposed to affirming the consequent, which is if the Earth is a sphere, we'll see the sun be in the sky for 24 hours. We see the sun in the sky for 24 hours. Therefore, Earth is a sphere. That's affirming the consequent, making a positive claim, presupposing the actual thing in question, and then just affirm it because of the outcome, like the actual observation itself. Right. So as if to exclude any alternative possibility. This is why it's logically fallacious. Right. And then, of course, like the straw man of like, it could be a dog. No, the position specifically is that we physically, empirically measure the surface. We utilize the surface to actually be a topographical plane. And then I listed off specific reasons why we have to utilize it to be a plane in the first place. And we can talk more about the positive evidence. I want to just specifically rebut these things. So we have shifting the burden of proof, affirming the consequent. Your whole opening really was like poisoning the well as well, right? Kind of like a hasty generalization, because there certainly are some people that act that way within the idea of flat Earth. Hasty generalization fallacy to put them all together, then kind of a stereotype fallacy, right, to describe what we all are, right, and then a genetic fallacy because those people are like that. Anything coming from them must not be true, and then these fallacies are packed into one, and then you use that to poison the well the entire time, right, which is incredibly fallacious. And there were lots of ad homs in there, and then a lot of people that are not here, and I'm not going to answer for what they did or didn't say. I do also know, like, in good faith, I'll acknowledge that there's obviously a lot of context and history kind of leading up to this debate and what has happened with Jiren. You did say that you tested it and tried to explain it for 6 months, and then you decided, well, really right when we got back, you started saying that the Earth was a globe. It wasn't that you tested it and looked for alternative explanations.
That's also the thing. That's what I was saying. He was still there in Antarctica making these kind of claims like he's already moving away from flat Earth. So it was really odd because he was still there. They weren't there for 24 hours yet, and he already claimed the sun's up for 24 hours without even observing it first. Then notice what happened, and we called this out when it was live as well. He went to sleep, and he gave his equipment to McKeegan and them to check it for him. The people he doesn't trust, he gave to look at his equipment while he went to sleep under a table. Makes so much sense. Because what we were finding odd when they went down there, the flat earthers weren't really doing anything. The only ones really trying to do stuff there were the globies. And then when we did see footage from like Jeran or whatever riding bicycle or sitting and drinking coffee or, just chilling or sleeping, that's about it. Or showing the toilet.
That was a Glober operation. The Globers pay for it. They owned it, so they also own them. So they, just had to be there and agree.
Yeah, so there's a lot that was just really iffy about what was going on there.
Well, I mean, it's like, oh yeah, let's take our shirts off, guys.
And then stand in a checkerboard formation for this.
Yeah.
It's going to make a lot of sense.
Oh, man. It's not a good look.
No.
Okay. There you go. 6 months before. So, okay. And then begging the question, it's kind of the same thing as from the consequence, just an informal, right? And then there was a lot of kind of an appeal to an emotion, right? That's where it's really kind of irrelevant how the people acted. They all turned on me as well, arguably more. And this is a big one. It's a false dilemma. It's a false dichotomy, which is either it's that AE map or it's my presupposed globe and there's no other alternatives. And so since I don't think that this observation works on the AE map, therefore it must be a globe.
Nice. Whitsitt actually listened to in that. So happy. Thank you, Jiren. Whitsitt. Glad you've taken that up. It's false dichotomy. Good.
False dichotomy fallacy. And there were many straw mans, as I've never even claimed that model to be true. I've actually said the opposite for a very long time. So, and again, the big one being the argument from incredulity. So I will say, all of these claimed evidences, they require, I wish I knew the time. All of these claimed evidences, time? Can
you have 3 minutes.
Oh, okay. All these claimed evidences are presupposing so many things, bro. And that's the part that I'm very perplexed about, because we have all sat here and we've realized that we need to suspend belief. Not believing in the globe is a suspension of belief. And you're approaching this as if, no, it's actually us coming in and we have a super staunch positive belief. That is not my position at all. I am suspending belief, wiping the board clean, and be like, okay, what can be empirically validated? I'm not going to presuppose things. Again, let's just stick with the 24-hour sun. To say that the 24-hour sun, because you just defended it, you just stated the conclusion in your opener. You stated the conclusion as a fact, right? So you're just saying that we saw it, therefore we proved it. You just told us about how it was definitively proof, not really how it wasn't, or how it was proof. And then when you kind of even went in that direction, it was because I don't understand the alternative. I don't see how that could possibly work on the alternative. It matches the globe perfectly, which again affirms the consequent. So I want everyone to just think about this. So to claim that the reason we saw what we saw in Antarctica is because we're on a sphere, we're going to claim that all the stars in the sky are infinite distances away, so far away that when we move across the surface of the Earth and it looks like they drop down when we move further away from them, it isn't because of perspective. How perspective changes everything else in the world.
But not the stars.
And when we see a plane fly away from us and it goes down, right, and it comes close to us and it goes up, perspective affects everything in the world. We use special pleading, which is claiming the exclusion to a universal principle, the exception to a universal principle, which is no, actually the sky is the one exception, the stars is the one exception. Perspective doesn't change it. It does exactly what perspective would do to change the position, but it isn't because of perspective. And then to make that, so we have to presuppose that to even claim the globe is possible. That's why they've changed the distance so many times and kept pushing it back. Then to claim that those stars are that far away, you then have to answer the question of how would you be able to see it from that far away? So now you have to assume.
I remember Jeran always used to push this, the inverse square law of light. And when they worked out with the inverse square law of light, based on the distances of the stars and the sun and everything, we shouldn't be able to see it. So it's weird. Yet they still want to claim it's a globe. They still want to give it those distances.
And you see how they speak, the both of them, they speak very fast. The amount of words they throw into their speech, like in a minute, is like almost double of what a guy like you, guy that speaks English correctly, not like me, because, but those, that means that it's also like a tactic to there's so much they're saying so fast that it's hard to to just like concentrate.
Yeah,
you understand? See, this is how they play it. Also, David is also like this, speaks fast. So, well, just a little thought. That's all.
Yeah, but that's true. It is one of the tactics. But Whitsitt is known for talking quickly, though.
Yeah, of course.
That's what he does, and
a
lot of the times the people don't listen to half what he says.
No,
because of that.
When you think about it, people that do understand things, all that science, they should take the time to speak clearly in order to explain to people, what it is, because there's a lot of people that don't understand. I'm one of them. There's a lot of things I don't understand about, what he's saying. So it should be normally, speaking slowly and clearly in order for people to understand and to digest what he says. But actually here, when he speaks quickly, you can detect maybe a desire for people not to understand and not to analyze and not to digest what he says, just like to hear it and just sound like he knows what he's talking about. But he doesn't, communicate. He doesn't talk for you. He talks for himself. You understand what I mean? This is just like a, behavior, analysis,
that there is a vacuum, that there's nothing between us, a near perfect vacuum, so you could even see
1
them.
minute.
And then you stack those on top of each other to come over and say, therefore, we're physically changing direction. It makes the perspective look as if it would if we were on a horizontal plane, but it's not perspective, and therefore we see the sun where it is. And you have to assume the distance, pretty much assume the 93 million miles as well. So that's my main issue with this, is that before we even get to affirming the consequent, we have to, presuppose like 7 or 8 things. And that's kind of my rebuttal. I listed off all the fallacies. I won't listen back. I don't think I have a full enough time, but the big ones are argument from incredulity, an appeal to ignorance. You have shifting the burden of proof. You have begging the question, appeal to pity or emotion, false dilemma, slippery slope, strawman fallacy, affirming the consequent, ad homs, hasty generalizations, reification fallacies. And that's the issue, is that every single one of the arguments I've heard so far have literally been a textbook fallacy. So we can get into specifics going forward.
I think it'd be good.
And time. All right. Thank you, gentlemen, for your rebuttals. And I think I want to announce to the audience right now, go ahead and start submitting your questions to the Q&A box at the bottom of your screen. Click that box. The Q&A should open as a pop-up. Be sure to submit your questions. And for the next 30 minutes, we're going to engage in an open cross-exam between Austin and Jiren.
Unfortunately, we're going to have to postpone that to tomorrow night.
That's pretty cringe.
Because I do have work in the morning. But wow, what are your thoughts so far?
Cringe.
I just don't still see how they paid so much money to watch that.
I don't either.
Oh, I came to see, because I heard about, that interview. So I went to see Whitsitt to give him a last chance, to clear himself, in my mind. But, it just confirms everything I thought about him. It's all fake. It's all hypocrisy. It's just a game. It's just, those are snakes. Game over.
Yeah, the thing that bothers me is they're still business partners.
Well,
and the fact that he's still, like I said, what he was saying now, most of it I can't disagree with because it's true what he's saying, but it's how he's saying it and behind the hypocrisy behind it.
Sometimes you can use the truth against the truth. You can weaponize the truth in order to lead people, away from the truth. This is easy. When you want to sell something to somebody, you're not going to just lie to him. You're just going to tell him a lot of, true things. You're going to seduce him, and then at one point you're going to lie. But that's the tactic. So don't be impressed by the what he says and everything. Look at the whole picture. Always look at the entire picture if you want to judge somebody. It's like. But good show.
The votes, we ended up now on who was your favorite actor. 35% say Whitsitt, 19% Chilinism, and 45% say both.
I was in 45% also.
That's kind of like that's kind of loaded. It's kind of like which turd smells worse. It's terrible. I don't know what else to go with.
Yeah, man.
I don't want to smell either of those.
I think Whitsitt made it worse on himself because of the whole Vapegate thing. I think that made his persona untrustworthy much worse for him.
Well, I'm a simple guy. I like simplicity. I like cold logic, basic logic, and again, just the fact that they say they went there, and just the fact that they agreed to go there to see a phenomenon that could not happen according to everything they understood and demonstrated. But flat Earth, it was already like suspicious. It was already like It's like saying, okay, I accept to go on the moon with NASA to see if the moon is like a rock. So I accept to put an astronaut suit and go into like a space shuttle just to check if the moon is a rock. Same shit.
So when the rocket's turned around by the firmament, then you know that you can't go to the moon, right?
And we understand that because
you got to validate that there is something preventing you from going to the heliocentric outer space.
Well, the first thing I did when I started to come to flat Earth, it was not to see if the Earth was flat, to understand that the Earth was flat. Well, it was to see what NASA was saying, if they were actually lying. And at one point, when you understand that everything they say about space is lies, all their imagery and all their pictures and videos of space are fake. So now you start thinking, so why is it fake? What do they have to fake it? in itself, it's already like, a half a proof that the Earth is not what they're saying. Because if not, they wouldn't have to fake everything they are faking. So
Yeah, I
that's
hear that. I
logic.
just don't understand. I don't understand how to accuse them of betraying the flat Earth community just to go and look for the observation. It's the same thing that you would do if you're trying to find and disprove the claim of curvature, where the globe makes a claim, you go out and disprove it. The globe made a claim, they went to go look at it to verify yes or no on that claim.
It's very simple because after you saw that for like years and years, they already proved that the Earth was flat, was like a plate, and that the South is all around the Earth. So you cannot debunk what was already proved. So by accepting to go there to see if there was a 24-hour sun,
what was proved?
That the Earth was flat, and it was like, and that the South is all around the Earth. That was what was.
Do you believe that we live in a biblical model with an enclosure of a firmament?
Of course, everything which is written in the Bible. But since I'm Jewish, I'm not Christian. I go according to the original scriptures in the Torah, not the the translated version of the Catholic Church of the Bible. Okay,
that's fine. Genesis, Job, Psalms, they all say that we're encompassed by a firmament.
Of course.
So therefore, and it also says the sun and moon are in the firmament shining down on us. So that would cause an optical effect. Have you ever seen an experiment where they take a light and do a circumference like Psalm 19:6 says over the top of the firmament?
Well, about the sun being visible is one thing, but you forget about the heat, because it is also
I'm not talking about the heat.
Well,
they didn't go there to measure the heat of anything.
Of course, but if you say it's just like a projection of the sun, where the heat comes from?
No, that's not what I'm asking. I'm just saying simply, the globe made a claim. They went to go test the claim. That's all I'm saying. Look, it's not like any other flat earther testing curvature, testing Coriolis, testing anything else that the globe claims.
But lying about the observation, that's the part.
Well, that's just where we disagree. I mean, I do believe they saw something. That's why I'm personally wanting to go down there for a second experiment.
Why all the fudged video and crap? What was that?
Look, Sav, I grant you, Sav. I was very disappointed in their level of preparedness for this thing. I think that they absolutely failed on what they did record and how they were not prepared. And regardless of Duffy, the claim that Duffy lied to them about how much they could pack out to take with them, I still would have been able to. I would have been prepared with enough Red Bull or something to be able to stay awake that whole time and get the footage that we needed to not disappoint the community. I'm not happy with that at all.
Incompetence. I can't drop that on in. It's on purpose. It was on purpose. The whole level of incompetency, that was a game. Especially knowing, just like anybody with any common sense would you, me, we would actually be prepared for something like this, regardless.
Especially with being planned for such a long time.
But the fact of the matter, and what really comes up suspicious, is that live feed that was on Rumble. The live feed of the 24-hour sun on Rumble that mysteriously cut out and was removed at around the time it was set. So listen, there's just too much around it. It's no point in discussing it. Some clowns went to Antarctica and said some shit. Once we get somebody that's actually serious and honest, maybe we can consider that. But up until that, this was nothing but a three-ring circus clown show, babe.
I agree with you, so except for the fact that they went to Antarctica, because it's impossible to believe it, since everything on their video is fake. The mountains are trembling, they're like.
I believe his chest cam. I believe his chest cam that he was there in Antarctica, that they actually got some B-roll footage from there. But does that mean that they were there? That B-roll footage actually came from that point in time?
Why fake the skies? Why fake everything if you were there? Just fake a minimum of things, but everything is fake. The trucks, everything is fake. And how do you know they went to Antarctica? They could have went in 1,000 places on Earth that looks like Antarctica, like Chile, like Argentina, like wherever. And
do you guys trust Run Boston Bear?
I don't really know him, other than being on the internet.
He's going to do the marathon now, correct?
None of us know each other if that's our standard.
I mean, it's like anybody can go there and say whatever.
But Run Boston Bear is going to do the marathon now, correct?
That's what he's planning. So that'll be another testimony to the place is a literal place. It takes a literal flame play in Punta Arenas. So we'll see. We'll see what happens when he goes down there. And he's, of course, has a history of running marathons all over the United States. So everything I know about him so far seems trustworthy. He seems like a very transparent and honest man who also believes the earth is flat and that the Bible's real and that we're being lied to. And that's all I'm saying, guys, is I understand the skepticism. I do, because I'm not happy with the footage they got either. And I'm not happy with them not being able to live
What
stream.
footage, though? What footage? All we saw were fake videos. They weren't there. When we checked live weather cams from that place.
I can't argue against you if you don't think anything's real down there.
Wait a second. How come the live weather cams were showing a completely different condition than what we were seeing on their live stream?
That means they weren't there.
Again,
logic. Makes sense, no?
Yeah.
Or are we crazy? Like, it makes sense.
Either they're lying or the weather cam was lying. One of the two.
Like I've grown up in Oklahoma where the weather changes every 5 minutes and the weather forecast is never accurate. So
I was watching it in real time. I had them open on one screen and I was looking at the live weather cam on the other screen. So
this is why I agree with what some of you guys have said this in the past on different shows. I agree that one trip is not the final say. I think that more experiment needs to be done, more observation, more effort into, like I said earlier, there's other ways than just observing a 24-hour sun. There's other ways we can determine what Antarctica is, where technically it is in relationship to the other continents. And I think we should definitely try to do something like that in the future, as opposed to just destroying each other from within all the time.
So I have to leave. We have an alert.
I hear that.
I hear it.
Stay safe. God bless you.
Yeah, it's all right.
Thank you, man.
Thank you.
You have a bomb shelter at least.
Yeah, we have everything. Okay. No problem. Take it easy.
Shot, man.
Bye.
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 I've got that open on another screen. The live feed from Tel Aviv as well as Tehran and shit. And from what I just saw, man, there was all kinds of crap.
Yeah, it's going like crazy.
Insane.
Going crazy.
It's insane.
Mm-hmm.
But that's what we do. Our leaders are like little children. And so they argue and they fight and we pay the price for it. Isn't that nice? Isn't that nice?
Yeah. Well, it's not them putting their lives in danger, is it?
Netanyahu, he skipped out of the country right after ordering that attack, man. He rolled. He wasn't even going to stick around to see what happened.
Yeah, we would probably have like 99% less war if the leaders had to go to actual war first.
Dude, that's why I love that Pink Floyd video, the Fletcher Memorial Home. It's talking about why don't we just take all these people and put them in their own little thing. They can play their games with each other. You can have closer TVs so they can make sure they're still real and shit, you know. That's great.
Mountain Biker, thank you for the super chat. He says, someone tell Sov it was a weather forecast, not a current weather. No, it was up.
It said live
weather forecast. We watched it live.
You people will scramble for anything you possibly can.
We were literally having the live stream, watching the live stream, and bringing up the weather reports live.
Well, what happens if I go down there and I'm live streaming with one of you guys individually, privately, and you look at the weather behind me and it doesn't match what they show on the weather forecast? What are we going to say?
Fake.
Why would that happen? Why would that happen? If you're live and the weather cam's live, it should be showing the same thing.
So there was a live weather cam from Punta Arenas?
Yes.
You guys were looking at?
Yeah.
From Punta Arenas?
Remember, they got 2 meters.
From Punta Arenas or from Union Glacier?
No, from Union Glacier.
Do you guys have a link to that? Can y'all send me a link to that?
It was on my... Let me show you the stream quickly. I'm going to quickly show you a circle. Because it was still that in the middle of that whole Vapegate thing from Whitsitt on the 14th, where we actually saw him do that. It's like, why is his gloves off and everything? We're seeing some weird things. But yeah, Sean, if you do go, it would be great to have a discussion with you live. You know, like Steve was supposed to have with Duffy.
Yeah, I would just record it. I wouldn't want to live stream to the audience just
Obviously.
to people that
Just a recording.
that we know and are trustworthy. And
Yeah.
I would provide time and date, GPS, and airline tickets, and all the things that I thought we were going to get from this situation. So I agree with you guys. I'm very disappointed in the lack of certifiability of some of this stuff, and the fact that they don't feel, I don't want to say pressured, but they just don't feel like they have to provide that. And I'm sitting there going, do you not realize the community that you're in? We're skeptical for a reason. Like, show us the plane tickets, show us these things, and then it's going to help you gain your credibility a little bit more. If there's other things, I don't know what the other gentleman was talking about with mountains trembling or whatever, but
account
either way.
for those missing days too. You came
Yeah,
back.
I don't.
What's going on?
That's why I declined. That's why I declined, brother, because I was like, "There's no way I'm going on their dime and on their schedule. There's no way I'm trusting Duffy for any of this stuff. There's no way. So why don't we? Let's just go ourselves. and if we see the same observation, so what? We can already demonstrate it with other means. It doesn't.
Yeah,
change
but that's what I'm
anything.
saying. It doesn't
Shape-
really matter that the Earth will still stay flat. It's at the end of the day still just a false dichotomy. Let me see. Here it is. This is why we were looking at it live. I'll send the
Can you
link
see
for
the
you
link?
as well. Yeah. This was like while they were there in the
investigation. We'll leave it at that.
Yeah, the thing is, because while we were looking
6 degrees Celsius is the low, and the high is -8.
Oh no, I'm
7
sorry. I wasn't
kilometers per hour.
Sorry,
I wasn't asking for the video. I'm asking for.
Yeah,
the
I don't know.
site
I can't seem to find
verify.
the.
Because
Because even if I go on Meteor
forecast.
Blue, it doesn't want to give me the history as far as then.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I've been trying to find the history on, but it's difficult to get it. But the thing is, the weather was showing live updates as the weather was supposed to be overcast and windy. There was no wind and there was no clouds in the sky. And this was all while we were showing it live. I mean, look, this was what we have in the weather. No wind, no clouds, but the weather report says cloudy, wind. So it was interesting. But if anybody is able to get the history up of the weather at Union Glacier, then it would be really appreciated. But I've struggled to find it. Thank you, Mountain Biker, for another $2. He says, nope, it's a lie. Look again. What's a lie? No idea. But anyway, guys, I have to go, unfortunately. It was great having you on. Sean, I'd love to have a discussion with you about your trip sometime you're planning to do. I think it'll be quite cool. Just between the two of us.
Yeah,
I've got some ideas.
I'm not just for the sake of the Globers watching. I'm not even saying I'm going to officially commit to it right now.
Yeah.
So if I actually do it, it's going to be privately done because I don't want,
Which I understand why as well.
Yeah, I don't want to. I don't want any nefarious forces trying to intervene or do anything weird. So
exactly. Yeah, and that's exactly why I'm saying, guys, do support people like Roger and everybody that is trying to go down, because they would just want the truth. So.
And I did have a quick question, like to keep in mind, like with Jiren. It's like with the direction he's taken towards the globe. It's like, oh, okay, Jiren, but what all those years worth of anti-NASA videos you did, are you saying that's wrong? No? Like, is space real all of a sudden again, or not?
I think he does still say the moon landings are fake, though. I think he does still say that, but I might be mistaken because I don't really watch his stuff anymore. But last time I checked, I think he said it's still fake.
Well, I mean, shouldn't that be a conversation with his new globe pals?
Well, yeah, he's actually had McKeegan on just recently talking about the moon landings for like hours and hours. Yeah, and of course McKeegan's trying to convince him, and Jiren's been extremely gracious to him. I'm just I agree with you guys. I'm like, Why are we being nice to these people that literally trying to threaten to take your kids away, threaten to dox you, threaten to, stifle your livelihood, that called you all manner of horrible slanderous names in the book? Like, why? How do we just suddenly just flip the script and say, oh, because we saw the same observation and we're buddies now? I just don't.
Doesn't make sense.
Clearly, as a Christian, we're called to love and forgive our enemies. That does not mean I extended them the trust as friends that quickly.
That's exactly.
There's a difference in maturity there.
There's a difference between forgiveness and being friends with someone after you forgive them. You know what I mean? If you can't stand a person, especially for what they've done, you can forgive them, but that doesn't mean you have to now be buddy with them.
Yep.
So yeah, yeah. But again, thanks for coming, guys. I appreciate it. Sean, you gonna have a show coming up?
No, we're doing something for our Patreon tonight. I won't be streaming until tomorrow.
Awesome. Dave, you obviously gonna have something?
Oh, no, not tonight. No, I've been live the last, I think, 4 nights in a row. I think I'm going to take the night off. And then, of course, tomorrow's the regular Tuesday show. And then Wednesday, I have a debate with a guy named David Leggett from Facebook. He's one of the flat earth haters on there. And I've got some really good questions for him and his gravity. How does it not succumb to the forces, to entropy? What is it drawing its source of energy from? Why does mass attract mass? This is what we got to get into. You claim this, but there's no explanation as to why. Where does that energy come from? It has to come from somewhere, and it can't be perpetual.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
It comes from the perpetually generated friction of the cog disc within the glober's brains.
Always thought it was going to be as serious.
I did too. I thought there was something serious coming with that. Good one, Sean. Good one.
Appreciate you guys. I got to go.
You too, man.
Take it easy.
Be blessed. Just you guys too. Thanks everybody in the YouTube lands as well for coming. I really appreciate you all, and on Rumble and whatever you are. Thank you guys on the panel. Appreciate all the super chats. Hit the likes if you haven't already. It really does help the show to grow. And I'll see you all then Wednesday night for part 2 of this.
All right.
Many blessings. Cheers, guys.
Sounds good.
Bye.